to continue just fine.
No, the YouTube stream.
It still says it's going. Anyway, so I can't just bridge them because my internet goes down and Hamachi can't connect. But it was a good idea. Well, apart from the not working bit, it was great.
Maybe if you fed your Tamagotchi, it would let you play.
Any more ideas other than just tell Rob to sort his freaking internet out?
Well, it's clearly him, isn't it? Not
Oh, yeah, I know it's him. Yeah, that's. I mean, even when we
I managed to get it sorted.
Even when we were using Hamachi, I still was unable. He couldn't connect to my Stronghold game. I could only connect to his. So I'm like, it's just definitely something stupid.
Was he triple firewall behind 5 subnets or something?
No, I don't think so. It's just because he's
more security than Brian.
Right.
I think it's the level of incompetence. That's harsh. It's just not knowing. He's not a techie in that respect, is he?
Yeah, but he's running on a VM on a Mac behind a Fritzbox. And somewhere along that chain of stuff, he's dirked it.
What's a Fritzbox?
So as I was saying, Baka, you said, oh, your highest level is thing. So I have got melee of 7, ranged of 5, nature of 11, combat of 8. And that makes me level 14. Explain. It's not even an average.
Like, well, they clearly have an algorithm for it. Don't
they do have an algorithm. I'm sure. Oh, hold on. What's my stat points? I've gained 11 stat points, but it's not that either.
Well, it says that I'm level 18, and 18 is what I am in archery.
Right. Well, I'm 11 in my highest one, so it ain't that.
Maybe you get a bonus for each other one that you have. Like, I'm level 8 in melee.
Maybe it's counting the bonuses from your gear.
I doubt it, because then I could give you a bunch of gear and then you change level. Right. Well, we can start at Glassern, which is fine. So that seems all right.
Are you sure your stream is up, by the way?
Nope.
Stream died.
It's back up again now.
Okay.
Seconds. The first one was 5 minutes and 50 seconds, and now it's continuing.
Okay.
So hello, everybody.
All players must click on ready to begin.
I keep forgetting that.
So is Glassern like where we were lit?
No. That's where we started yesterday, not where we finished yesterday. Sorry, Henry. We're still trying to organise IP addresses and Hamachi and. I mean, really, someone else suggested we use 0 ping, but unfortunately, Rob is on a VM, and then JK doesn't want to install a VPN on his work laptop. But I don't think it's that complicated. It just puts you on different. It just gives you a different adapter. As far as the game is concerned, it's just talking about a physical hardware device. It just happens to go somewhere else. It's not fun in the slightest. It's a pain in the ass. So a couple of things, Dave, I'd like to fill you in. One, and I'm going to tell you this, and I assume you already know, but nobody else seemed to. When you have a combat pet, if it hits something, you get levels in its School of Magic. Did you know that?
Did I know that? I don't think I did.
Right. Sort out a pet as soon as you can.
Well, I'm only level 1 in nature magic.
Sort out a pet. I need to sell some crap, sorry. But yeah, sort out a pet as soon as you can, because it will continue to do stuff even when you're not there, and it effectively doubles our number of people in the party. So that's quite important.
I need to level up nature magic.
Combat magic's the easiest because you can get a gargoyle at level 5. The lowest summon is Grimal at level 7 for nature magic.
The gargoyle, does it do range?
Yes.
Does it do yeah, see, I want a melee pet.
They will die quicker.
You get the skeleton eventually with combat magic.
Skeleton is unfortunately almost totally useless.
Quite.
No, it's too slow.
Now you're just trying to hurt its feelings.
Sorry. And I'm just making sure I've got room. Because I've got a bunch of cool gear that I can't equip.
I feel like it's the game's particle system that's causing the FPS problems.
As I said, if it's some... back of... There's some Resurrect Scrolls for you. If it's something as simple as that, like, you know, too many particles, your PC would bulldoze the issue. You would solve the issue through greater firepower.
You'd think.
Yes, I would. It's only like subtle interplay and race conditions that will cause what we're seeing. I'm currently running between 43 and 38 FPS, and that's not a noticeable drop. It's not as smooth as it was yesterday, but I'm not going from a beautiful 60 to a heart-crushing 35. Henry, because we got Stronghold to work, we were going to do an hour-long Stronghold game, but it took us about 45 minutes to get it working. And that involves, let me get this straight now, that involves using Hamachi to put us all on a virtual network, and then using an IPX wrapper to grab all the IPX packets, bundle them up in the Windows 95 broadcast format, and then intercept them at the other end, and then push them back into being IPX packets on the remote computer on a virtual LAN. Yeah,
Well,
and it's like,
insane.
yeah, it's like, well, it worked really well. The only issue we had then is we couldn't remember how to play the game. They have a pair of shoes with... Oh god, I'm being killed. Dora!
I'm running away.
I'm hoping Dora gets the hint. Every time she's naughty, I just shut her out the room. She... dead again. Which she really doesn't want to be shut out from. We'll see whether or not she actually learns. Dora keeps harassing Cepheus, and Cepheus is too old to bother fighting back because he's an idiot. And like earlier, she managed to knock him over into his food bowl, and he's got quite bad arthritis. He's got muscle wasted. She doesn't really like standing up very much. He likes to sort of lay. And I went and admonished her, and he's still laying in his food bowl with kind of a "help me, father." So I ended up grabbing Dora by the scruff of the neck very tightly, and then smashing her in the face with Cepheus's paw to hopefully get the "oops, I shouldn't have done that" from Cepheus, not from me. Because every time she's mean to Cepheus, if I so much as breathe, she utterly legs it. She knows she's not supposed to. Where the hell are you guys? I'm still dead. So yeah, she absolutely understands she's not supposed to do these things, and she still does them. But she does stuff like, she sees me and she'll hide behind a shoe and then attack Cepheus from there. Like, I can't see her. She sort of checks that I'm not watching her. And I've used my webcam to watch her as well, which is even funnier because she doesn't think she can be seen.
How old is she now?
8 or 9 months?
Yeah, you'd have thought by now she'd start being a little bit more trainable.
Oh, no, she is absolutely where she's not supposed to do it. She just realises she can get away with it when I'm not looking at her. Hey, JK. So it seems that we can't do the dual Hamachi and not Hamachi approach. The game, so you might be able to help us because Dave is useless. So the game does list 2 adapters. So I was assuming that Dave would be able to join over my external IP address and Rob would be able to join over Hamachi. But what instead happens is they can't see my game anymore. So then I bridge the connections and my internet stopped working. If you have any suggestions, I'm all ears. You can also just type lol what. That is also an acceptable response. And I want lightning. You do appear to be using half a door as a shield though.
It's effective.
Is it?
Yeah, my armor's pretty solid. Be slightly more solid if I had magic armor spells.
I would buff you magic armor spells if I wasn't currently dead.
Well, that's not my fault.
It's literally your fault. You went, I'm running away. That was your approach to the bad guys.
Dying's not the handicap it used to be.
It is a handicap for only 60 seconds. There you go, you got armor. Now go on, go kill them all.
I am slightly out-leveled by all of this stuff at the moment.
No, you're not. This is exactly the level you should be. This bit has always been a nightmare. This is a bit where the game tries to teach you you're supposed to pull them with a bow and run away, not just wade in.
That never worked.
It did.
That's what health potions were for.
That works with multiple players, but it's a little bit harder when you're the only one meleeing, because every time you you just spend your time drinking. So I do have area heals now, though.
Oh, that's handy. I'm yet to experience one.
Yeah, I've literally been healing you. I've healed you about 10 times tonight.
Yay, level 9 in combat.
Did you not see the little tiny blue whooshes through the air?
Oh, I see them.
That's the area heal. You should probably be leveling your zap, though.
Yeah, but not as fun as hitting things.
Yeah, but you need a pet. You have to get a pet. Don't forget, once you've got a pet, it will level you through the the nature magic anyway, because it will just continue to level you.
I'll go to zap then.
What are you on nature magic? Just one.
1.
Okay. I've got you know all the spells.
So this might take a while.
It's all right. We'll just watch. No, it'll only take you about 10 minutes. It's not, it's not a long time.
Does mostly require that the zaps actually do damage.
Can't have everything. Actually does. I don't know if you can actually miss as such.
Oh no, I'm doing 1 damage at a time. Ooh.
Yeah, because it's a hot, by the way, it's quite funny when you get knocked down. So you get knocked down and stand up, and knocked down and stand up, and knocked down and stand up, and then the hot will wear off.
Isn't there a song about that?
Not that I recall.
Only I had some gloves with plus the combat magic.
I've gone from 1.16 to 1.17.
And you're level 1, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next one is Flash, I think. Flash is really good against multiple targets. Flash is level 3. See, this is what I quite like leveling combat magic, because you can level, what's it called? Steal health. Rip health. Leech life, that's the one. Because it heals you while you're...
level 2 first. I'm level 1.
First crash.
But, if I only had some gloves that had +1, that'd be great.
Well, maybe that bow's got +1.
Well, I had some gloves with +1.
Oh, it's got +20 mana, though.
Oh, we lost Dave.
That's my first crash of the night.
I haven't had this game crash on me. Like, literally, nary once. Oh, crap.
I do wonder if having 2 graphics cards is somehow causing issues.
They're not in SLI mode, no?
They are in SLI mode, but the game shouldn't care about that.
Well, if they're causing that much problem, you can always send me one of them.
No, you're right.
They might be SLI, but they're not any good. Oh.
Really
Don't forget, as far as the game's concerned, I have got 4 video cards with TNL, 4 video cards without TNL, a primary device with TNL, and a primary device without TNL. So as far as this game is concerned, I have got 10 video cards in my PC. So I'm...
primary device is just shorthand for whatever Windows says is your main device.
Yeah, that's what I mean. As far as it's concerned, it's got 10 possible devices it can write to, and 2 of them happen to be, well, they're all the same.
Why did you pull half the damn forest?
Because they're arranged in deep packs like that. But the thing is, didn't you bugger about that to make it run windowed?
Yes, that's almost certainly the cause of my crashes.
Yep. Full screen, so it gives it, well, probably doesn't give it exclusive access to the video card, but it will at least think it's got exclusive access to the video card.
Oh, it does think it has that. As far as it's concerned, it's got full control of everything. It doesn't know any different.
We've gone left of the house.
I just need to...
How are you doing, Henry? I think you had to head northeast-ish out of town.
Past the stables, by the big giant doors. There we go.
I have been following the hoo-ha in America with a bunch of people with guns turned up to their Congress building to protest. And apparently everyone's like, that's fine. I can't remember what state it is in. I want to say Michigan. It might not be. But apparently it's one of the very few states where they do allow guns in their government buildings. Nearly everywhere else will send you down for 5 years if you've got a gun on a federal or state property. I might be getting the wrong terms. But yeah, it's just a bit weird. Like, you have the right to protest, absolutely, but turning it with a gun does say, or I'll shoot you. I mean, again, this is my very British look on it.
The thing it's a completely different culture.
Yes, it
you
is.
have to consider that.
But they do have guns, and guns are therefore for precisely one reason, which is to murder other people. Sorry, self-defense. And I mean, if the English equivalent were like turning up to someone and then going, "Oh, I'd like you to do this," or "I don't want to."
You've never heard of like hunting?
Yes, you're right. I'm sure they went to the Capitol building with automatic weapons for hunting.
No, you said that guns were meant for only one thing, and that's to murder people.
Or to murder animals, I guess. But I would hazard a guess that's probably quite a small percentage of gun owners actually go hunting with them. 10.
Be surprised.
I would be surprised. What do you say the percentage is? 10?
Probably 70 or greater.
70%. So you reckon 30% at minimum of guns are owned by people in cities who don't hunt with them?
I don't know about cities, but like where I live.
Yeah, okay, but that's not.
So
That's
when I had the people over here working the other day, there was a guy operating a bulldozer, and two of my neighbors turned up and were like, "Oh, this is cleared now. Hey, there's deer tracks over here. Do you mind if we come over here and hunt with our guns next
yeah.
season?"
Do you know what?
Yeah,
Wait.
as long as I get some of the-
Do you know what a local maxima is? That's like saying 100% of people drive smart cars. Well, what's your sample size? Just my house. I'm sure that 80% of people where you live might have guns for hunting. That's nothing to do with gun owners across the whole of the states or Michigan.
Right.
I don't know much about
Well,
Michigan.
That kind of dismisses your blanket statement that guns were meant for killing people.
Most
People use them so that they can feed their family.
again, if that's even 5%, I would be utterly shocked. I would be
What percentage of it do you think it is of British gun owners?
well, obviously zero.
What?
Zero.
No. There's a good percentage that still use them.
Zero.
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 Zero. Do you know anything
It's
about?
not zero. There are loads and loads of owners that own guns for hunting.
No, good lord, no. You can have them to clear your property. If you're got hunting with them, that's the last time you'll ever own a gun. The gun control laws in the UK are unbelievable, and you're limited to a shotgun. And there are restrictions there, or a single shot rifle. That's it. No ifs, no buts, nothing else. Nothing.
Yeah, you're thinking of hunting in the terms of going out into the wilderness and finding something to shoot, which you obviously can't do in the UK because it's far too small of a place to have any wilderness of such a scale.
Uh-huh.
But farmers can get licenses for weapons for shooting stuff on their land. Badgers, foxes, etc.
Yes, but you are not allowed to use that to how can I put it? It's not like you're not allowed to actively hunt them. Is that probably a better phrasing? You're allowed to clear because that's the law over here, Brian. Again, this is a very different culture over here. We don't have guns.
I mean, I find that really weird that like if you owned land there and like there was a rabbit that was on your land and you were hungry and you brought out a gun and shot that rabbit and ate it, you would be arrested and thrown in jail.
I very much suspect if you did that, the police will come around to ask you what the fuck you were doing. Whether or not you would get sent out. What? Again, I don't think you quite understand. In this country, we don't have guns. What's the okay, JK? That's interesting. What's the restrictions on that then? because you're allowed. I said single shot rifles. I think is it bolt action? I want to call it bolt action. I don't really know. And essentially double barreled shotguns. That's it. And you have to jump through
Can
in.
be pretty deadly with bolt action rifles. I mean, look how many
That's
shots John Wilkes.
that's again, but you have to jump through enormous hoops to be able to get these. You don't just walk into a shop and go, "I'd like a gun."
Well, you don't do that in America either, to be fair. It's not. You can't
Mister,
buy a
you don't know
gun
anything
the
about
same day you walk into a shop.
I spent quite a while in Maine, and I will have to disagree on that one. I mean, as a foreigner, I probably couldn't have, but everybody else, not a problem.
No, you genuinely, in most states, you cannot just go into a shop and buy a gun and ammo and expect to get it the same day. You have to apply for your application, have your various background checks done, and then you can collect your gun 7 days later.
In the state where I'm in, it's pretty much the same regulations except for specific like hunting rifles, but there is a 3 to 5 day waiting period and a federal background check.
The idea behind that is to stop ad hocs, spontaneous.
Have you guys actually looked at what the background checks in the US are? They're unbelievable.
Yeah,
They have laws against using electronics to do background checks. Everything is done by a paper. All of it. It's mind-boggling. The influence the NRA have over that sort of shit. It's just
an absolute farce. I'm just saying that the rules are there. It's not a completely lawless place.
wow.
Doesn't mean they're good laws and doesn't mean they're good rules.
I have got a Wallopy staff there, a Wallopy thing.
Wallopy thing.
And because the laws exist doesn't necessarily mean that the criminals follow them.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope argument. In the UK, if someone breaks in my house, I guarantee you he has not got a gun. No ifs, no buts, he hasn't got a gun. If for some reason he did have a gun, I personally don't feel murdering him is an acceptable response to, I'd like to see your television. Have the television.
Do you honestly think that like people intend to murder the people that come into their house? I mean, there is some serious repercussions. You better make sure that that person is pointing a gun at you and wanting to kill you. You're allowed to like get,
except say in Texas. Yeah, you've got Texas again as the extreme, but in Texas, if they're on your land, you can shoot them. He was robbing me, done.
No, you cannot. That's called castle doctrine, and that only exists in a few states. And
Texas, I'm pretty sure Texas is one of them. Which states does it exist in?
If someone is on your land, you're not allowed to shoot at them.
I would have to tab out the game to look up, but I'm pretty sure it is Texas.
The thing is,
Missouri has pretty strong castle doctrine, and like I know of several people, including members of my family, that have been told by police if there's anyone that is burgling your house and you shoot them, make sure they fall inside of your house, because if they die outside of your house, you are in serious trouble.
Well,
that's where it sounds insane.
Yeah.
Well, that's castle doctrine. I mean, that only exists in a few places. This is my house, this is my castle, and if you break in, you can expect to die.
Indeed. I mean, I kind of get the mentality, but it's just crazy. The fact that you think you need... It's an arms race, effectively. You have a gun to defend yourself because they may have a gun.
I have 2 dogs to defend myself, and if they reach the door before any kind of gun, I'm going to shoot my dog. Yeah. No.
Yeah. It's a bizarre...
Wait, if they reach... Who's going to shoot your dog?
Between if I have a gun
and
it's pitch black and my dog runs at someone in the dark, I'm going to fire into the dark because I could hit my dog.
I mean, in this country, basically the arms race got as far as homeowners occasionally in dodgy parts of the country will keep a baseball bat by the front door. That's about as far as our arms race ever went. Yeah. It's just not a thing.
Except for
maybe the occasional robbery in London or something.
Wait. I guarantee you, homeowners do not keep knives by the front door in case someone breaks in. Of
course they don't, because the police will turn up and take their butter knives.
No, you've not a thing. But yeah, so the worst someone might break in, it's possible they'll have a knife. that's fairly unlikely. If nothing else, then you might as well just bring a baseball bat because you can get away with that. Knife laws are very strong in this country. So what you're doing, it's in the UK, the US. It was what was it? It's when the penalty for doing something, the penalty for murder gets high enough, you might as well try and get away with it. I can't remember what it is now. There was not escalation. What's it called? I've lost. I've what?
Well, I welcome anybody to try that. I don't want to come in here to get in because, you know, once the sprinklers kick on and suddenly you smell gasoline and Metallica Into the Fire comes on.
Nah, that's old, man. It's all BFG division these days with your Alexa warnings.
It is a strange concept though. Like if someone breaks into this house, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, you broke into my house, so I'm gonna beat you up and stuff." It'd be like, "My TV's over there, now piss off."
Or do you just shout "get out" quite loudly, and your neighbours will go, "I wonder what's going on."
Well, yeah, exactly. And then you just phone the insurance next day and say, "I've been burgled. Give me money." Your own health and safety is far more important than anything you have in your house. So why put yourself in the way of danger? And drawing a gun on a potential burglar is a way of getting yourself shot.
Can I just say, guys, this conversation is going to go nowhere because America was basically founded on homeowners having guns. So it's basically it's in their blood and it's not going to change. So I know it's a massive difference in cultures, and it's
That's
never
what I
going
was
to be
getting at.
different than that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that. No,
Always going to be
it's
that way.
just the Michigan thing has made. I mean, and even a lot of the US go, you can't do that in our state because it's been batshit.
Also, I think they misinterpreted that rule. It's the right to bear arms, as in having bear arms on your walls.
Yeah, but how are you going to hunt them without a gun?
Big sticks.
Leave it attached to the bear.
That's true, yeah. No, the reason that law exists, obviously, was because of the whole situation that got them their independence in the first place. And it's the idea is the militia, the citizens of the nation, can always draw their guns against the government, should the government take its power too far.
Against the drones and the tanks and the
That's another reason.
battleships.
The irony is they've never actually bothered doing that. Instead, they just vote Trump in.
Well, I mean, that's certainly from an outside. That's what it looked like with Michigan. That's what they were threatening to do. We want
Wait,
you
how
want
did we go? How did we get into Trump here?
we want you to because did you not see the tweets from Trump? Him
No,
going.
We were talking about someone invading my property, and now we're talking about Trump. Discord
Oh, 'cause
crashed.
we're talking about law and the reason why the law exists in the first place. It's so
Well, because
rise up against
you know, if the King of England were to come in and try to invade your house, you wouldn't want the King of England to come in, would you?
I think in our country, I'm not sure. I don't know if the active signal still exists. It certainly used to. That if royalty wanted to come into your house, you didn't get a chance to say no. That wasn't a right you had. But I don't actually know if that one still exists.
That was a Simpsons quote. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but I actually think over here, I think that might actually still be. I think in theory, in reality, if the Queen wants to come in your house, be like, come in, rather than going, no, you can't come into my house, Liz.
I think if anyone from your royal family turned up at my house, I'd be like, please come on in, except for that one lady that's in Canada right now who we won't talk about.
Yeah.
I think they can all come in apart from Prince Andrew, who might be going to a Zizzy's. No, was it Pizza Express he went to?
I don't know, but the man can't sweat.
Did you see the interview when he tried to clear his name? You've never seen anyone think that he can lie and make up stuff convincingly, and just didn't. It was just hilarious. Why are you at Pizza Express? Oh, it was for someone like me, of course. That's an interesting and different place to be. And people are like, sorry, one of the princes of the realm went to Pizza Express, and no one remembers this. Are you joking? It's just, and then I couldn't have possibly been at the paedophile party because I was at a Pizza Express at 7:00. Like, just bizarre.
Very ill-founded, that whole interview.
Well,
I
he
think there's
thought
a
he could
genuine-
lie convincingly and get away. You know, just.
There's a general issue in the gap between the common man and the elite, be they royal, be they federal, be they rich. it's wider now than it has ever been, and it's causing problems.
Well, the irony is, of course, that we, and I use the term loosely, voted in the anti-NHS party, and then we promptly had the biggest cry for the NHS. I mean, it probably is the biggest one, isn't it? Like,
Oh, absolutely is.
because the NHS has been around since the late 60s, I think.
Yeah, it's a post-war thing, so this is the worst thing that's happened since the war. At least it's the thing that's affected the most people since the war.
I've got a weapon called Squasher here. Mana, health with mana, and melee skill. And a gliding bow. Oh, I can finally equip my my stuff. Okay, can you all stop getting shot?
Has anyone else got weird shadows in this place? Like the whole thing's black.
No, the only weird thing about my shadows is because they're better than they were. They sometimes go a long way. If that makes sense.
I turn mine on for 5 extra frames.
All the outside of my screen looks black.
Well, the outside of my screen is always black. Hold on, I do have some bits and bobs. I have a buckler with +1 dex. That's a pair of shoes.
Oh, you're here now. Can I have those +1 combat magic gloves back?
Oh yeah. Cool.
And I have a stick with +35 to mana.
Thank you.
Oh shit! I'm still having to keep certain gear on to keep my stats up.
That's what's strength. Oh, that does 38
Ah,
damage.
okay.
Better.
Can we do slash roll on this? I bet we can't. Oh no, it just chucks off on the ground.
What are you trying to do?
How do we do a slash roll type equivalent without any? You can't do rock paper scissors vocally. I've got an item, and I think everybody might want this item. So how do we? Yeah, it's an amulet, but how do we randomly decide who gets it? But randomly.
Say a number between 1 and 5.
4.
Put it to chat.
That's why Dave.
Decide. Who should
Wait.
you give the item to?
Pick a number between 1 and 4. 3. Okay, that's me.
Pick a number between 1 and 3. 2.
That's all right then, Dave. I give you the proud possessor of an amulet with +3 armor.
Well, that makes sense. I'm going to get bashed a lot.
But that means that means everyone else gets an amulet before you get another one.
That's fine. That just sounds like DKP rules.
Why did someone actually go? He goes, "I've got this amulet. Brilliant. You know what? I'm gonna put +3 armor on that amulet. Why even bother?"
Oh, I need to go back to using Zap. I'm almost level 1. Oh, sorry, almost level 2.
Almost level 2, yeah. I'm continuing to collect spells. If there's a spell you want, let me know. I need to buy another spell book next time we're back at town as well.
Well, I only have Zap and Charged Fist at the moment, but that's all I can use, so...
As soon as I get 1 more dexterity, which is very soon, you can have.
When you do get 1 more dexterity, could I have it?
What do you need?
I need 1 more dex.
Here, come over here.
No, because I'm using a piece of gear that gives me 1 dex. I'd like to get rid of it and swap it out for another piece of gear.
What is it?
And it's a shield.
Oh, never mind. I had a shield 1 dex.
I also don't have any gloves. So if anyone's got a pair of gloves, please let me know. I do have gloves, but all they're giving me is 3 defense.
I have gloves,
All
but,
you need are gloves.
Hey, we need to talk about more politically charged and
You say
controversial
that, but
subjects.
every time we do that, I get thumbs down on the videos. I swear that's what they are.
Of course you do.
What surprise.
You talk about, you know,
Well, you were talking about, like, Orange Man.
you're offending a entire culture.
Well, that's a bit of a loose term. I've seen yogurt with more culture than America. But tis. Why am I being followed? Have you seen my hat? Why am I the one in charge?
I'm not following you.
You're all following me. I can all see you.
I'm totally following you. That's largely because I'm
Because
currently just zapping.
You know why we're
things.
following you? Because CPS told us to. That's what he said a minute ago.
Is
Did
that,
you hear him?
is that what he said?
Yes. He said, follow my dad so he can go and like feed me.
See, I think Dora and CP both said the same thing. Was you're not my real dad. You can't tell me what to do.
No, I think they're just cats and they don't care about you.
They do. Every time I go somewhere, they follow me. It's adorable. I want your bow. It's like a plasma caster. It's awesome.
I might have to switch over to a real weapon to kill these things.
No, just keep hitting that wolf. Another 150 shots to go.
Okay.
Oh.
Stabbo the Stabber took a...
I think you find it's a capital ST. St. Abo the Stabber. St. Abo the Stabber.
Oh, I see.
No, I wasn't planning on actually using this character. I just forgot, and I was about an hour in, and I was like, "Oh shit, this isn't." I meant to make a new character.
Can you not rename it?
Possibly. There's editors and tools and things, but I don't currently. I renamed the file on disk, but that wasn't. It was more complicated than that, apparently.
Yeah, there's a another folder with the character data in it.
Yeah, but I renamed the character data file.
No, there's a character data file where you think it is, and then there's another folder in the save file that actually contains the character for that world.
Yeah, but this is my multiplayer character. Hold on, I'll res you, dead person. Oh, wait, I'm dead.
I was trying to res you, but I don't have enough mana apparently, even when I'm on full mana.
Does resing using mana require you to have more than they have health?
Possibly. I can't find the person to res them, by the way. Where's their corpse?
Right here. Just right.
Sorry, I was left clicking, which obviously means completely ignore this button press whatsoever. What the hell are you doing, you complete moron? There, you can all be buffed.
Here's a news article for you. Tesla stock prices plunge after Elon Musk tweets Tesla stock prices are too high.
What?
He sent a tweet out saying the stock prices were too high, and now the stock prices have gone down.
I think he is trying quite hard to get reform in the US financial stuff, because he's you get a lot of short sellers on Tesla. Like there was the guy that he bought like $1 million of short sell stock, and then started a rumor that Teslas were randomly accelerating, so that stock would drop so he could short sell it. So I think Musk might actually be trying to prove a point and trying to actually get some of these things changed. Because you shouldn't be able to do that. You just shouldn't be able to fuck someone over and then make money out of it. I mean, that is the American way, I guess. So maybe.
Nice.
Speaking of guns, I can hear somebody firing off rounds right now.
Yeah.
America. Sounds like freedom.
It's a mad world. Elon Musk does appear to be constantly sabotaging the value of his companies over and over and over again, which is clearly a deliberate act to keep their values low whilst he heavily invests in them.
Possibly. I mean, that...
Possibly because he's trying to buy back as many of the shares as possible, because he doesn't really want to be a public company.
A pair of gloves. Maybe I can equip them. Nope. +1 to strength. Right.
I'll have those.
If you got 16 strength.
I think I might have, actually.
But yeah, another Tesla killed someone in China, I think it was. The guy in front of them swerved out of the way of a bunch of motorbikers that were stopped on the road, and the Tesla didn't.
Oh dear.
But it's one of those. It's still... A Tesla killed someone today. All right, how many people died in Fords? Oh, like 85,000 just in America.
This is it. It makes headlines because it's new and shiny, and
yeah.
it's yeah.
I
If you
caught.
replaced every car with a Tesla, there'd be a significantly lower death rate.
Oh yeah, well, oh no, what was the number? I looked it up for motorbikes and I was shocked. I think it's 18% of motorbike accidents. Motorbike accidents, alcohol is a contributing factor. Like, sorry, what the fuck? But in cars, it's pretty high as well. And if I were to replace every, I think it's something like 25%. It's a huge number, even in the UK, and it's much higher in the States. The UK has a extremely dim view of drink driving. It's simply socially not acceptable. Hasn't been for about 30 years. And if you were to replace every self-driving car on the road, you'd eliminate drunk driving overnight. And I can't believe anyone could possibly argue that self-driving cars are worse than drunk drivers. Not even Teslas.
It's like the
I will take a self-driving car when it's a Johnny Cab.
when it's a Johnny Cab. The generation that's coming in, sort of like the millennial, as they call them, which technically
Millennials are coming up to their 30s, Dave.
well, exactly.
Okay, boomer. Okay,
Technically a millennial. But
Gen
what I mean
Gen
is
Z.
they are-
Gen Z.
Yeah, much prefer.
I'm sorry, Jen. What?
Gen Z.
Was that your
An
date?
American or something?
That's what they're called. They're called Gen Z. I don't call them ZZ top, do I?
I don't know. You're weird. You might say that.
Yeah. But yeah, car ownership's going away. It's all going to be rented cars and shared ownership and all self-driving.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
No time soon in the States.
no.
Well, yeah, because
Maybe
of
in
the...
cities, but like rural areas, no. Not going to happen anytime.
Well, not anytime soon, but...
Vehicles will change into specialties. You'll have your standards, rural vehicles, your pickup trucks, all that kind of stuff, because frankly, you need them. But in the city, it's not needed. So you'll only have a car to go somewhere else, at which point, why own a car if you only use it once every 3 months? Like, it'd be interesting to see how many people go back to actually going to an office after coronavirus.
Well, I would surmise. I mean, Sumo is just down the road from us. I think they've got about 500 people, and they have 3 very big, very expensive buildings. But if nearly all of your workforce working from home, you can save an awful lot of money and rent a much smaller building. So I think there are a lot of advantages, and we have absolutely just proven that actually, you know what, nearly everyone can work from home. Certainly all the office workers.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had a survey through from HR already asking people whether they want to go back to an office or not.
There you go.
Yeah, and they're not.
Engaging
They're
what
not.
people's responses are.
Well, they're not doing it for the sake of your health, are they? They're doing it absolutely. Oh, a stick
Oh, yeah.
plus 2
Same here.
decks.
The biggest problem though will be space in the UK is already difficult, and building existing houses, let alone new houses, to accommodate home working as a permanent solution is going to be very tough.
My heart bleeds for the super rich landlords.
Oh, indeed, bastards.
I hope that cudgel was useful to someone. It had plus 2 decks on it.
Yeah, nifty. Not for me.
I assume Baka got it because he's primarily bows.
Got +1 dex boots here if anyone needs them.
Oh, actually. Oh, for God's sake, yeah, if I had 20 strength. How strong do you think I am? I could barely put this hat on. Like, quite literally, I could barely put this hat on.
And I'm here just leveling up Zap of all things.
How's your zap doing? How's it going?
It's almost level 2.
Yes.
What level do I need to be?
7.
Oh my god.
But quite soon you won't need to use zap. You'll be able to use flash,
Spark.
arc.
Spark.
Oh, spark.
He saved every one of us.
I haven't got spark. I've got freak, dancing zap.
I've got Spark and I'm using it right now, and once I get 1.5 more nature magic levels, you can have my boots that have +2 nature magic skill.
Oh, handy. Because all I'm trying to do is get a gargoyle, then I can switch back to melee.
You might also need to abandon that plan and switch to melee at some point during this run. We did this last night. All I've got is
combat magic, not nature.
yeah,
Which
got
one's nature?
kilogram hour, which is level 7.
Oh, okay.
But it does speed up. It's the first bit because unfortunately you're fighting Zap against reasonable level mobs.
Leveling combat magic stopped.
Well, I don't know if I can use Mana Channel because you could just cast whatever it is, the one on yourself that you can cast.
That gives such a tiny, tiny amount of experience.
Yeah, but you could just leave a button on it.
I am tempted. There's a decent number of us here. I'm tempted just to go melee and not have a pet.
Everybody needs a pet.
I've got you.
Yeah, but you can just wait till we get more gear with +1 combat magic on it, and +1 nature magic. And
This is true.
and then eventually you'll be able to just put it all on, summon the pet, take it all off again, and then carry on.
That is a good idea. Let's go with that.
Like, I've already got boots with +2 nature magic, which you can have when I'm done with this spell, so that's a good start.
I want an invisibility spell, please. I just want drop aggro. I'm a healer. Fuck off. Like all of these guys, I'm not even sure they're actually aiming at me. I think some of it might be just missing and then hitting me.
Here, I'll bring them over to you so they can hit you better.
That's not helpful. No, I keep dying. I'm the only one taking damage in this bloody combat. Okay, they've stopped hitting just me now.
You feel better now.
No.
They have a satisfying shatter sound.
What, the one that sounds like someone dropping a plate?
Hmm.
Oh, no, that's the crystal ones that sound like a plate drop, isn't it? Oh, no. Still on the lookout for some magic gloves. If you've got magic gloves, please let me know. No.
I've got magic hands.
Who do you think I am, Michael Jackson?
He only had one magic glove.
Did he?
Yeah, that was his
Those are
thing.
all I need.
That's his thing. He had a magic hand. Like a magic glove, sorry, a magic hand.
Oh, really?
Is that what he told the children?
Oh! I'm gonna get a thumbs down for that, you watch. Yeah, I did have a look for any games like Dungeon Siege, and as far as I can tell, Dungeon Siege 3 was simply a very, very Diablo 3-esque game. So all the people that like Dungeon Siege didn't like it. And I just found this sort of hate thread on Dungeon Siege 1 and 2, just saying how boring it was. The most boring way. You just sit back, you watch your characters, there's no skills. And I'm like, but that's the bit I like about the game, that it's not just another... try and memorize, a set of cooldowns or like that. You just set your party up and go, and you cheer them on.
Different strokes for different folks.
Which is why Dungeon Siege 3 did very badly, because they promptly did what all the rest were doing, which is not what people actually wanted. Oh, my Soul Lance has quite a cool little noise.
Soul ass.
Soul Lance.
Oh. That's crazy.
Bow with plus 12 to health.
That just sounds like a
No.
dog, Adam.
Sorry?
Your soul lance just sounds like a dog.
Oh, well, a little bit. Isn't that a cool noise? It moves about the same speed as a skeleton, by the way.
It sounds pretty rough to me.
$14 billion is how much the value of the company reduced by.
Drop in the bucket.
I wonder how many shares Elon's bought before it goes back up again.
Exactly. Like he clearly knows something's going to happen in a week or two's
Only
time
we
that
had a
involves
healer.
releasing a new model. Or...
Well, I mean, they've just shut down their factories, and they've got some issues with. Walmart have insisted that Tesla take all their solar panels off all of their shops because one of them caught fire.
Wow.
So apparently there are
That's Solar City, isn't it? That's not.
well, it's Tesla now, obviously. They bought them
of
up.
course.
But yeah,
You
it's
know, you'd probably die a lot less quicker if you wouldn't stand in all the air.
the arrows come towards me. It's not the other way around.
Why is my dude not going to
Okay, he's
these?
too busy mouthing off about Elon Musk.
I like Elon.
Can't concentrate on playing.
I think he's doing good. He's a very, very disruptive force that makes me chuckle.
Now apparently
Man's
some
an idiot, but he definitely is a bit of a comedian.
Now, some of the wiring wasn't up to code on the big solar panels on the roof of the Walmarts, and that's what caught fire. Like 30 kilovolts running through some of these cables, and they weren't properly insulated. Yay!
He does feel a little bit self-destructive, though, doesn't he?
Maybe he's just bored.
Quite in control.
Thing is, oh no, what's going to happen? Oh no, he'll have lost some of his 1.5 billion. Now he's only worth 1.2 billion. Oh no, he won't be able to buy quite as many yachts.
Well, this is it. But he lost 3 billion in that tweet on the value of Tesla from his own stake. But
Yeah,
it's fake money. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's not liquid.
it's like when people talk about how rich Jeff Bezos is. They're like, yeah, only if he sold Amazon. Not like he can't actually spend that much money. It's as he said, it's not real money.
It's like one day it's worth 100 billion, the next day it's worth 2
American
billion.
dollars. It's not real money. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
because it's not liquid assets.
It's just the perceived value of it if it were to sell. But even saying that you're going to sell it would cause it to go down or up in value.
Yeah, like most money, perceived value of it.
Not with fiat.
Well,
Not with what?
Fiat money.
Fiat money.
Yes, fiat money.
The
actual
car
money
manufacturer.
that has a guaranteed value, like the £5 notes in your pocket.
what's it backed by?
At the moment, government guarantees. It used to be backed by the gold standard, but that's not been a thing for a while.
Yeah, because they kind of went, yeah, we don't have anywhere near enough. There's much gold, so we're not doing that anymore. Like, but that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to be borrowing against the gold in the vaults of the Bank of England.
Yeah, now you're just borrowing against the value of the assets of the state.
Or the magic numbers that are made up?
Well, yes. Ultimately, the economy is all just one fat lie.
Bow with +2 to ranged.
Let's go back to bartering. I
Is
will
this-
give you 2 chickens for 1 cow.
God, can you even imagine my life? So, on Steam, selling games, if that was how we worked, I'm not for that. You know how Fortresscraft,
I don't know. It depends on the chicken.
Fortresscraft shipped 1.4 million units, and it sold for 240 Microsoft points. And I've had so many people ask me, what did I spend the Microsoft points on? And I'm like, sorry, do you think Microsoft are paying me in Microsoft points? I would have earned 300 million or so Microsoft points. Like, that's nearly enough to buy all of the Call of Duty DLC or something silly like that. I mean, there's no way you could spend that much.
I love that idea, though, that it's not converted.
Just you log on and you've got 300 million Microsoft points going, I don't know what I could spend these on.
Maybe you can convert them for stamps at
No,
Subway.
no, it's very clear this has no monetary value.
So
Clever how they do that.
you're all playing Dungeon Siege, right?
Yes, but
And connected to
what?
Hamachi.
No,
What?
because when I'm running Hamachi, no one else can connect to my game. Just you, I would guess. So they suggested I bridge the connections, and then I get kicked off the internet. So that wasn't a plan. Did you order your new PC yet that will actually run Windows and not be some sort of weird VM that you set up wrong? Click. Yes. Stop picking up the shit, you stupid man.
Let me email Graham.
Hey, Graham. I can't connect to my friend's Dungeon Siege game.
No, I was going to ask him about the water cooling.
I assume there is AMD water cooling.
Of course there is.
But yeah, absolutely. Go with an all-in-one water cooler. You will never regret it. It's so good. It's so quiet.
Or just go with a Noctua fan cooler.
No. Ignore the man.
Yes.
Ignore the man speaking with technology from the past.
No, the new Noctua fan coolers are quieter than water cooling and
Mine's...
outperform water cooling.
I can just turn the fans on mine off and I gain about 1.5 degrees CPU temperature. There is definitely no quieter. Also, I have got a radiator block strapped to the top rather than being at 90 degrees in my case, like those monstrous... I don't know why they still develop motherboards sideways onto how everyone has built computers for 20 years, but they do. But it's definitely not any quieter. I mean, the pump is below the level of hearing, and I don't think the fans run on mine most of the time.
It's the same with any modern decent airflow fan system. They barely run at all, just enough to move air around. Definitely below audible hearing. It's a solved problem basically, unless you're whacking in a 9900K that's been overclocked to 5.4 gig or something.
I remember the salmon flower. That was about 20 years ago.
I've
This big bright copper fan thing.
I've still
I
got
had one
mine.
of those. They were actually really bad.
Of course they were bad. Anything that looks the part is evil.
I'm going to have to let the cat out because he's in the wrong room. I'm not feeding you. You got to play before I started the stream.
But yeah, the latest Noctuas, especially their Black Edition ones, are absolutely enormous, covered in a ridiculous number of heat pipes, and with 2 decent fans on it, will outperform water cooling, unless you do it custom.
Wait, how can an air cooler output water cooling? Like, physics says no.
Well, it does. Go read all the tech sites.
The water cooling just moves the heat away from the CPU
Yeah.
to somewhere else. Then it does the cooling somewhere else. Right? So water doesn't actually make that any better. It just helps it move around and distribute it.
But water's a lot better at taking the temperature, the heat away from the CPU, as opposed to just a
but
chunk of
they're
metal.
both doing it to their maximum amount that can. They will both only cool down to ambient, so it becomes irrelevant.
True, but
Cooling gives you the ability to use a much greater heatsink because you're limited by, I guess you're limited by the amount of contact you have and the amount, how easy it is to get the heat physically away from the CPU because the CPU is small. That's why they've all got these big metal rods carrying it away to a massive heatsink held somewhere above the CPU.
Yeah.
And it's just you're using metal to carry it to the heatsink instead of water. So.
Well, all of these modern things have vapor chambers in them anyway. All the heat pipes are vapor.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if now it's all water cooling. You just can't see the water.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's their vapor tubes, aren't they? Heat pipes are not solid lumps of metal. They have liquid in them. That's
yeah, the liquid in the
reaction.
center, it turns to gas. Uses what's it called? Dot triple point. What's the term? Sublimation when it turns from
sublimation. Yeah.
when it turns one to the other, and then it goes to the cooling point and then turns back into a liquid and then comes down the outside of the pipe. It's so clever.
Oh, no, not sublimation. Sublimation would be solids to gas. They just evaporate, just liquid
It's
to
just
gas.
evaporate. Yeah, it's not a fancy word at all, is it?
No.
Just evaporate.
So basically, I don't know why, but when I have Hamachi running, no one can connect to my regular adapter. If I bridge them together, that doesn't work either.
Yeah, it must be picking the Hamachi one and forgetting about the
Uh,
other one. It's strange
no.
because it does recognise the IP addresses. It says, I am on these IP addresses.
Yes.
Then it only listens on one of them.
Well, I don't know because I don't know enough about that. And Dave's option of bridge them just took me off the internet. Like Hamachi couldn't connect, and my internet went down. So,
Well, it probably took your internet. You've got to have both of them working.
well, they were both working.
In fact, no, because if you bridge them, then you're routing. You're going to break. You're going to break your your Hamachi runs over your other one. So
Yeah.
if you bridge it, you're routing your Hamachi over your bridged Hamachi.
So this all comes back down to just fix your internet. Come and join us.
What's his name? Custom PC. That's not his name, but that's his email.
Graham.
Graham. Yes. What CPU fan did he say? Oh, it's just got a fan that comes with a Hyper 12 RGB.
Oh, RGB makes it cool better.
Oh yeah.
Screw you. My case is amazing, and I don't care what any of you say. Because I can glance at my case in it now and see it's at a cool blue, a cool green. So I know my PC is running quite cool because this game doesn't.
Green,
No, mine changes color depending on the CPU temperature, so I can tell whether or not it's hot or cold. And I would say, running this game, my PC's actually now gone down to dark blue. So like this game is not even straining my PC enough to stop it being warm. Whereas Borderlands, my PC's a hot orange.
8 to 30 decibels. What's that?
That someone made it up.
8 to 30 decibels is you're not going to hear it.
That's trust me on this. If anything ever lists how loud it is, just ignore it. You can't measure it. Everyone measure it differently. 8 to 30 decibels. Like,
What distance in what environment?
yeah. I'm just trying to work out what that is. 11, 15, 18, 21, 21. Yeah. That's like 64 times louder. Like one end of that scale is 64 times louder than the other one.
Well, that's why it says 8 to 30. Because it just depends if you put it in your ear or not. So, according to an arbitrary PDF of noise, 30 is the level of a whisper, and 20 is the level of leaves rustling.
Well, hold on.
So, pretty quiet.
Wait, 20 is leaves rustling? No.
It depends on the leaves.
I mean, right now, if I stop talking, my room. So my room is, I have a 1-inch fan 8 inches from me, which is my 3D printer. My room, if I stop talking, is.
What?
There's some gloves there for you, Adam.
What?
You start talking, then.
Wait, what was this?
Oh fuck me! It's picking up my headphones.
What did we have to do to make Adam? We need to write this down, guys.
That's true. It's quiet for once. Just listen to that.
Yeah, so my room is about 50, but when Dora crunches the food, it goes up to 70.
She's a loud cruncher.
She's just a cat.
My laptop's running at 40
dB.
by my arbitrary measurements, according to my watch when held near my face.
Doesn't it also depend how far away you hold the microphone as to how loud it is?
Yes. Each doubling of distance is a reducing of it's inverse square law. You're supposed to measure it at dBA is 90 degrees at 6 feet, and in a completely silent environment. Good luck arranging that bit. This is partly why there are no laws around the loudness of vehicles. So the UK law around the loud, you've got to have your vehicle must be E-marked. That's the law. You cannot modify your exhaust for the purposes of altering the volume, which is kind of interesting because I have a baffle in my exhaust to make it quieter. Technically, that's not legal. But your vehicle will fail MOT for your exhaust noise if it is, and this is beautiful, if it is noticeably louder than another typical example of that vehicle. Because otherwise, if they set a dB level, they'd make Ferraris illegal overnight. But because I've got an Impreza and a V-twin motorbike, both of which are ridiculously loud, that's fine because people tend to make them loud. So it's fine to have them loud. That's a brilliant law. I love it.
And yet the council put laws on how loud you're allowed to have music in pubs and clubs.
After 11 and before 7, yes. During the day, you can be as loud as you like.
I felt sorry for Adam when you worked at Codemasters and you'd get home at 4 o'clock in the morning with your car. Your poor neighbours.
I did tend to coast at the last bit, wherever I could. And for those of you who aren't aware, I have got a 3.5 exhaust on the back of my car, and if I rev it down a street at night, I will set the burglar alarms off in the shops because it's shifting that much air. And my bike's louder.
I remember us going under the tunnel near Tesco near the big game.
Oh, yes.
That was a good spot.
The big game's a great LAN. Everyone should go to it.
Where's that then, Our Dave? It's thebiggame.net.
It is thebiggame.net.
Thebiggame.org.
That's an well, there's a bow there with +1 decks. No, I mean one of my favourite moments of my Impreza was actually when I raced Rob. We were at a LAN party. I think a flash LAN. I do love this story. We were at a flash LAN and we'd gone out for a meal, and I believe Rob, you were in a Yaris. I believe that's correct. Running.
Was that a Yaris at the time? Okay, cool.
Let's say a Yaris. It may have been a Peugeot 106. It was a small front-wheel drive car, and we'd gone out for a meal to a very, very good world-class Indian restaurant in Aldershot of all places. We'd had, yes, yeah, and we're on the way back, and it was dark, and it was raining, and we were going up a hill, and we both pulled up to the red lights in our own lanes, and Rob, in his little Peugeot 106, in his Yaris, whatever it was, in his teeny little 5-seater car full of 5 people, he revved his engine, and I looked at him in my 4-wheel drive, limited slip diff, 300 horsepower, turbocharged Impreza, and I went, okay. And the lights went green, and we pulled away, and I pulled away reasonably briskly. I didn't floor it, I just pulled away with a slightly increased amount of brisk. And I noticed that Rob was somehow going backwards a little bit faster than I would have expected. So what happened is Rob, on the other hand, had revved it, dumped the clutch, and then lit up the front wheels in the rain and promptly slid back down the hill. You can all laugh now. That's a good story.
You see, he was challenging you to a backwards race.
Just a sliding race.
Yeah, like slide down the hill as fast as possible.
I do like how the details on that story get more and more specific every time you tell it.
Ah, yes.
As time goes by, 20 years passes, it's really, really specific.
Well, no, because I know there was 10 of us. I remember that because there was 5 in each car.
There were 4 cars. I don't think I span the wheels.
You spun you that, or you just slid backwards.
Fucked up my clutch control and just rolled backwards.
In my mind, you just floored it, went and then just down the hill. Like a horde of beagles being chainsawed. Yeah, this is probably going to be the last generation of car culture in any sort of way, because much as I love electric cars, and they are wonderful in so many ways, they're not very inspiring. Whereas I if I drive my bike past a bunch of kids, they'll signal for me to rev my engine, and like a child, I absolutely always will. And you don't really get that in an electric car.
Was it when you were at the track day in Castle Thingamajig, whatever it was, and someone had a Tesla there, and they were required to do a noise test?
Oh, yes.
Rev the engine to something 1,000 RPM and see how noisy it was. And
yes.
They were just looking at the test thing.
No, it was early MOTs. You were supposed to bring it to blah 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 RPM, and for the emissions test, yeah, only you couldn't. So they were saying to people, we can't pass your car because, not that you refuse to rev it up, but you can't. And they're like, look, it obviously doesn't emit anything, but you can't just write didn't emit anything. This is when Tesla's very, very first hit the UK, and the MOT laws hadn't caught up.
I find that surprising, though, that they managed to get it approved for road use in the first place, and the MOT the MOT hadn't been done. I wouldn't be surprised if that's just lots of garages didn't know that the MOT rules had been adjusted. Possibly.
I mean, as I said, the exhaust volume laws are weirdly vague, and every single MOT sticker I've ever got for my cruiser has said, note, the exhaust is very noisy. Like I might not have noticed.
Yeah, but they have to do that.
I know.
Couple otherwise.
Let's check him out. What was he saying?
Are you talking to Graham? Say hi from me. Say hi. Tell him I say hi.
Well, I'm just going to compare the measurements on that Cooler Master air thingy CPU versus a Cooler Master water cooled thingy jig.
Well, bear in mind, I
Measurements are
bought a double rad for mine, and there was literally no reason to do so. And genuinely, the fans are optional. The only time I need the fans is if I put something on top of the computer and I block the vents. Then it needs active cooling. Other than that, single rad is absolutely fine.
So this isn't a Cooler Master. That's a Corsair. So I want to go Cooler Master just because then at least I'm probably talking to the same people who did the volume, the loudness.
Yeah, mine's a Cooler Master. Mine's a Corsair H100i, and I've got the H200i, whatever.
80. Can't find that on them. Brilliantly, there's a manufacturer here called Be Quiet.
Yes, my case is a Be Quiet case.
They're a huge manufacturer, very popular.
Very stupid name.
Oh yeah, but
Be
they
Quiet.
base their entire thing on that exact thing. Being
Wasn't there a thing called Be Quiet in that old TV show called Stop It and Tidy Up?
Oh, there
Remember
might have been. Yeah, Terry Wogan narrated Stop It and Tidy Up.
Stop It and Tidy Up, and
Yeah.
I think there was a Be Quiet. It was just a giant big fat bee.
I mean, there was an older manufacturer just called Shut the Fuck Up, but they didn't do quite so well.
That's the late night
On
version.
this, even the water coolers still have a fan on them, and the fan
Yes.
is still rated at the same volume. So
Yeah, but
actually,
the fan can go all the way down to stopped, and you'll still
yes,
radiate nearly all of the heat.
the pump is running at less than 15 dBA. So actually, this isn't even comparable. It's impossible to compare. But
Yeah.
it's like if your CPU is generating X amount of heat, how much work and noise will the cooler have to produce?
If you're in a Be Quiet case, your computer will produce approximately fuck all noise.
But we're going to say approximately negative.
There's no such thing as negative noise.
If I put sound deadening material on the wall, that is kind of like negative noise.
No, it just reduces that. Just reduces reflections.
Of course, but it makes the volume, the loudness in the room quiet.
You'll also find nearly all sound deadening material you buy is completely pointless. Like real sound deadening are 6-foot foam spikes coming out the walls, and I don't think you've got that much spare room.
That's
Now, I did have a colleague who had not 6 foot, but he had 6-inch foam cubes all over all of his walls.
Yeah, that will probably achieve nothing. The best you can hope for is
that's
to
not strictly true,
diffuse
is it?
it.
Because you've got two aspects to it. If you've got a high dense material, you're going to block one set of wavelengths. If you've got spiky foam materials, you're going to block a separate set of wavelengths.
It depends what you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to achieve a good dead atmosphere, or are you trying to achieve your neighbours can't hear you? Because those are two completely different set of requirements.
Well, exactly.
I got rid of the most problems with my machine by just eliminating the vibrations by putting it on one of those like Black & Decker rubber pad type things for like power tools.
Desk was operating as a soundboard and
Yeah,
emitting sound.
yeah, exactly. If it's on a hard desk or a floor or something, that was the biggest thing for me.
I put my 3D printer from a lack onto a thick mouse mat I had, and it went from the noise of an electric drill to, I don't know, a squeaky door. Just so much quieter, and it's still the same noise. It's just not being amplified.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can, again, with a water cooler, you can just stick it in a cupboard because it can vent enough heat from outside the inside of the case. So you just pop it in a box somewhere. What's Fiat stand for then? I've not heard fiat money before.
Fiat money is a Latin word.
Right.
Stands for fix it again, Tony.
Thank you. And the mild racism continues. Actually, it should have been Mario. Only better. Fix it again, Mario.
Fian.
Then it would be a Fiat.
Fiat's Italian.
So it's fix it again, Tony.
Fix it again, Toad.
And I'm the racist.
I'm simply quoting Mario.
Fiat,
Really
Latin, or let it be done. Used in the sense of an order or decree.
Let it
I
be
mean-
done, money.
You could buy a Ford, then you could be first on race day.
Isn't that fix or replace daily? I think is the
Not first on race day. Just ask Ferrari.
I've still not seen that film. Someone ruined the ending for me. Oh yeah, it was the history books.
Boom, boom.
I'm trying to wallop this spider to death with a stick, and apparently I can't hit a freaking 6 foot tall spider, 6 foot long spider.
Yeah, we're just all watching you do it.
That's fine. Oh, is that a magic gun? No, it's just I can't wait to do this bit again. We basically got out of the other end of this cavern, and we were so underleveled. Like we were every mob was a huge pain. This has been quite quick by comparison. I really stopped casting. I stopped hitting things with my freaking sword though.
Oh, just came to smash that.
So Rob, when can I book you again to play Stronghold?
Check calendar.
I'd like to get Tad in to do Advanced Wars. See, I'd like to do a lot of Advanced Wars. I would just spend some time teaching other people how to play it.
Tuesday, 11 till 12.
What, morning?
Yeah.
Sure, but remind me because I'll forget. I nearly forgot last time, and then I didn't. But you had.
You've got more important.
I was
things to do.
late. It's not the same as forgot.
Not 11 o'clock in the morning, I don't.
Sure you did.
Yeah, I mean, the basics are the same in Dual Strike. Just that they had to use the second screen, and that really did make the game worse. It's not that complicated. It's mostly it's the tactics rather than the game mechanics you need to know. I haven't looked up Demigod yet. I would like to get that. I really like that. Stomping around that big castle. That was so cool. Leather gloves with +1 dex. I wonder what my cloak was supposed to be originally. It kind of looks like I've got a black cloak and I've just rolled around in some shit.
Well, I guess
Well,
that's what
who's
you've
that
done.
then? Must be a king. Or why is that? Not covered in shit.
Yeah.
Require intelligence 20. Come on, JK, hammer out for the lads.
Oh, this mallet is insane.
Well, I didn't vote for him.
What?
Hashtag not my queen. Staff with +1 melee skill. So we did actually find a map of this game as well last night, like a proper map of the whole single player level, which is quite good. And I haven't had any good ones of the multiplayer map, because the multiplayer map is quite complicated. Although it does do better, because it, between each part of the multiplayer map, the signposts tell you how far away it is, like how many screens roughly, which is quite good. Because in here, it'd be nice to do a signpost along the way so we could tell when we're close to a town.
Yeah, the multiplayer map was still quite linear, I think, but it just had multiple kind of directions you could go in.
Yeah, but you can go down like one of the paths, and then you'll get out level, and you need to come back and go down another path. So you end up sort of diving between places. But yeah, it was.
I don't remember doing that.
I remember it being cool, but I don't think I ever completed it. I did complete the single player map, but I don't think we ever completed the multiplayer one. But I would like to, because there's three Diablo style play it again with a harder difficulty stuff in that map, but not here.
I think me and Dave played the multiplayer map quite a lot.
Quite possibly too much.
Did you ever complete it?
No. We did spend 8 hours in one place though.
Yeah, I've had American runs like that. My longest American run was 10 hours. That was a nightmare. That's a rhetorical. No, well, I regret that decision. I do have enough mana. Oh wait, my character can't line of sight you.
I mean, there's no real explanation as to why these things are fighting us.
Or how come they can all stand inside the same square? Well, in this, say, hatred thread I found of this game, they were really whining about the story. Now, I played a lot of Diablo 3, a lot. I can name precisely one person who wanted to watch the cutscenes. Hey, JK. Everybody else would just hit escape as soon as they popped up, because watching cutscenes means no killing. So there was a
The cutscenes in Diablo are really good.
the rendered cutscenes are very good. The in-engine ones, not so much.
What engine? What in engine?
There were fucking dozens of them.
What, like on the boss fight intros and stuff?
And like when you had to go back to Cain and watch his daughter get murdered for the 34th time. Diablo 3, not there were loads and loads and loads of in-engine cutscenes. They were all shit. They were all proper Warcraft 3 levels of horror.
Yeah, I used to skip those after the first time I've seen them.
I think I skipped most of them the first time round.
Mm.
But that's
just trying to enjoy the story the first time I play through.
But it's a fairly unusual thing. There's lots of data mining, data tracking about games, and I kind of praise this, like the younger generation, they won't watch a cutscene. I mean, we saw this even back in Burnout. Like people would just sit there, just pressing start, press, waiting to be allowed to actually progress. And we were like, we spent ages on these menus. Please watch them at least once. No, want to go again. And I think that was the thing that really annoyed me about Dungeon Siege 2, is there were loads of those in-engine cutscenes again and again and again. You know, the guards let you out and then the king comes along, and I find them very jarring, pulling you out of the game view you're in and making you watch it from a different one.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the things that Half-Life did so well that still doesn't get properly replicated to this day. If you're going to put people in cutscenes, allow them to move around the environment and interact with it.
And ideally, press a button to leave it if you've seen it before.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, I love Borderlands 3. I love it. But oh my god, the cutscenes, just endless cutscene after cutscene after cutscene.
Spoilers.
What, the cutscenes are bad? Well, sorry.
Borderline spoilers.
But there's a lot of in-engine cutscenes you can't skip. Like, you just sit there and someone's talking, and when they finish talking, then the door opens. You can skip the rendered ones, like, fuck.
Even Cepheus agrees. He's like, the cutscenes are the cutscenes, let them play.
Yeah, but I've I've done 3 playthroughs on 3 characters now. I've seen most of these cutscenes, and I played with Brian a bunch. I've seen most of these cutscenes like 8 or 10 times. They weren't that good the first time. Like, I might watch the pod race from Star Wars 8 or 10 times, but the bit where you're introduced to the 2 bad guys in Borderlands 3, not really the same level of cinematic glory, is it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen Star Wars? It's great. There's a bit where Anakin
Yeah,
gets in a...
Borderlands 3. That's I have like 8 more Nomancer maps to complete.
There is a rough garment with +1 to Dex.
There's a mana chant here if you've got high combat magic.
I haven't... Oh, I do.
It converts health into mana.
It does. I can actually use that. I think that's the first one we've seen. It's not that useful, though, unfortunately. Oh, can I cast on you? No, just me.
You more mana regen, right?
Yeah. Oh, shit, I've just killed my... Oh, because someone... I overdid it. Thank you. I haven't given... I just knocked myself unconscious. Keep healing. Dave,
I can't resurrect you.
heal me, you fuck.
I
Heal?
have no healing ability.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Did you get the trigger happy?
No. It's fine. I meant to do that because it's called building character. See if it's
Nothing happened.
See if it's Lily. I don't know what you want. You've got food. It's fresh. He just wants me to touch him.
He's telling you to stop dying.
I didn't mean to overcast it. I do quite like the idea mooted earlier. We were chatting about different games to play. Now, we have looked at various ways of playing on with emulators of the internet. And it is possible in theory, but in practice, no. But we would be able to play slightly slower games running on an emulator on my PC with everyone else using Parsec or Steam to watch the stream and then play it on a pad. So that might be something we try, because I'd kind of like to play Gauntlet like that.
That sounds horrific. The stream lag alone would be awful.
Nah, it's not. Have you actually tried Steam remote to play together anywhere? It's unbelievable.
Talking about it, do you have a spare machine that I can remote play Dungeon Siege on?
Yes, but no, I don't have enough bandwidth. Like I'm soaking up what it is 5 megabit of upstream, which will have reduced my actual upstream from 20 megabit probably down to about 12.
Can't you like upgrade that or something?
Not really. That's
Doesn't the UK have like the best?
no,
internet?
no.
No,
What the
Wiki
fuck?
is behind.
Oh my god, internet over here is embarrassing.
You want embarrassing? We can talk about my internet.
Yeah, yours is also embarrassing. That's not the point.
I mean, we can whip them out and measure right now.
Yeah. No. Remote play together anywhere is astoundingly good. It's. I wouldn't like to try and play a frame accurate game on it, but very few people understand there is quite a lag between button press and photons hitting your eye, like much bigger than you would expect. It's like I said earlier, it's about pacing. As long as that delay is equal and fairly small, you'll never notice it. If it's always 1/5 of a second, you're fine. If it's somewhere between 1/10 of a second and 1/5 of a second, you're not fine and you'll struggle.
I'd say you've got 200 milliseconds before a human gets annoyed that something didn't respond in time.
Yeah, and you can easily play a game with 200 millisecond latency on the internet, like without even trying. That's easy.
It's the same for web development. That a web page has to be interactive and responsive within 200 milliseconds.
But the fun fact is that everyone's been slacking off Stadia. Oh, you can't play online. You can't beat the speed of light. Blah 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 blah. Red Dead 2 running on Stadia has a lower button to screen latency than Red Dead 2 running on the Xbox One, because the Stadia runs at 60 and the Xbox One runs at 30, and that's enough of a difference to push it forwards. But yeah, I played it.
Entry reflexes 300 milliseconds. So if you're playing an first-person shooter and you see something, you decide to click the trigger, there's 300 milliseconds latency before you click it.
Yeah, the problem with that, unfortunately, is when you've added in 200 milliseconds of game latency, that takes your window down to 100 milliseconds. Whereas the game's running at effectively 0, you've got 300. But
It also doesn't factor in things like humans' ability to predict stuff.
yes. I mean, honestly, if you're playing a game where 300 milliseconds is all it takes between success and failure, I don't think I really want to play that game anyway.
That's all of your Twitch shooters like Counter-Strike.
That's the Marauder window in Doom, I think, is 300 milliseconds, and it can go fuck itself. It's not often I agree with the internet. The internet has risen up in two camps, basically. The Marauder is shit. Why the fuck did you put this in this game? And get good scrub. And I think all of the non-14-year-old edgelords are pretty much on my side.
Sadly, the 14-year-old edgelords are the ones who make the most money.
In this case, I think even the Doom designers have been a little bit sheepish. The problem is, so Doom Eternal has a particular issue on console because you need to do double jumps, air dashes, and grapples. And if you've got a pad, that's AA, BB, click the right stick. Now, I am slightly older than I was, I will admit that, but even so, I don't believe, even as a young man, getting my thumb from the B button on top of the right stick and clicking it is not something I can do quickly. It's a very bad run of controls to have to press because it's my thumb pressing 3 controls in very, very quick succession.
Okay, Grandpa.
Right stick.
AABB right stick click.
At the wrong angle, sticks are hard to press. If you press it at the wrong angle, you end up leaning it, not clicking it.
Yep. It's a poor set of controls. I don't know, and it annoys me because I can do it.
That's a dragon.
I can do it. I'm all right. But if I was suffering from arthritis, if I had any motor issues whatsoever, there is zero chance that I could play Doom Eternal because they've got a bunch of accessibility options, color blindness and stuff, but not actually my motor controls are what they were. I don't want to hammer buttons. I don't want to have to move my hands quickly around on the pad. I do want to enjoy the game. And I do think
They don't have a grandpa's mode.
Yeah, quite literally. But in Spider-Man, for instance, you could turn off the QTEs, but you could also turn off the button hammering QTEs. You just had to hold it, which I found was fine. I had to press the right button in a short period of time. I didn't have to just quickly hammer it because that wasn't fun. It hasn't been fun for about 30 years or something.
QTEs were never fun.
The Spawn and Spider-Man are so amazingly satisfying and brilliant. They're cool, but generally, I do agree.
What is?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, isn't that a console exclusive?
It's PS4 exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So... It's not just this is good. It's so good. That's why I bought a PS4 Pro. It's a proper system seller. Absolutely all the way through. Beautifully polished, graphically insane, wonderful game.
It's not often that people buy systems for games.
Yeah,
I do that all the time.
the PS4.
You're still talking about No Mancer.
Absolutely, yes. Please buy No Mancer. It'll be on the Switch soon, and that's the reason to buy a Switch. No,
Can you send me a Switch so I can buy it?
when we've shipped the game, sure. Yeah, the system sellers aren't quite as common as they used to be because the Xbox has virtually no exclusives. For no reason, because obviously we've got Windows gaming store, which has most of the Xbox exclusives on it.
The Xbox has Microsoft released their stats for their sales stats and stuff, and they're showing that their new strategy of having the Xbox Game Pass and having cross-platform exclusives, i.e. buy it on Xbox, be able to buy it on Windows 2, is working better than having console exclusives.
Well, the problem is, of course, I see a lot of places going, oh, there aren't any exclusives, they're all on PC as well. Like, all right, but most people don't go out and buy an Xbox and a gaming rig. That's not your normal consumer behaviour. That's just sad acts like you and me. That's why the next generation of Xbox, they're very much pushing consoles in the cloud because then you just sell a subscription and a Chromecast.
Yeah.
Essentially,
just buy a game once and play it wherever you want to play it. I mean, that is, whether you like it or not, that's the future.
That's the best way to do it. I mean,
well, yeah, but you get the same problem you get with the Internet of Things stuff, where a company just quits or gives up and you can't play the game anymore.
Thankfully, I think that's not going to happen with Microsoft.
No, but it doesn't mean Microsoft aren't going to sunset that product.
Or projector games. Everybody should go out and buy their games right now.
I agree. I mean, obviously, I didn't buy anything on Live because I was a bit. No, I may have actually. No, I think I got given stuff. Anyway, yeah, online's got the similar issue that people, once they shut the system down, it's gone.
So look at the reaction to Nvidia's game Stream Now system, where it was you buy the game and then you can stream it any way you like.
You
As
mean
soon as they started doing that, everyone pulled out of it.
Yeah, I know that's which showed it's not. It's about making money, which is a shame because that's a really good idea. I mean, that's the ideal future, but that's our Netflix future, and obviously Netflix has been and gone, and now it's Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever, Stars.
Yeah, they'll all consolidate eventually, but we've got to go through this phase of having 5,000 of them.
Yeah, so that we can have the good ones, and then we can work towards consolidating on the shit ones.
Well, I wouldn't mind, and Now TV is essentially an aggregator already because you just subscribe to different various packages. I mean, if they had a Netflix and a Dave plugin,
If only the BBC would give it back to Amazon, that'd be just
give what back?
Doctor Who.
Back to
All their
Amazon.
other programming. Yeah, Amazon had Doctor Who and all sorts
That's-
of BBC
So
programs.
the way that works is the commercial arm of the BBC is known as BBC Worldwide Services, and they sell the licenses to the likes of Amazon, which means in the UK you never get to see any of it because it's obviously available on the BBC. So they go, you've got iPlayer, you don't need.
It's on Netflix, I'm sure of it.
Some stuff is because when it goes off iPlayer, they sell it to Netflix as well as anybody else.
Because you only get stuff on
That's true,
Netflix,
yeah.
on iPlayer for whatever it is, 8 weeks or something.
But not all the stuff from Dave makes it though.
Well, no, because Dave is nothing to do with the BBC whatsoever.
Right. So where's the stuff from Dave going to go?
Well, it goes onto the Dave website.
Whoever they license it to,
Yeah.
sub-license it to.
Netflix has got, I think it's got all of Red Dwarf pre-10 and some weird and wonderful bits of Top Gear. But yeah, Dave basically just buy up old episodes of Top Gear and Red Dwarf and not much else. And QI.
They're basically the
Who got
Kerrang
sick of it?
of TV programs.
What, from the Turtles?
No, like the MTV channels and stuff where they haven't changed in about 20 years. They just play the same songs from 20 years ago, over and over and over again, which is fine because they're great songs.
Hooray, we made it back to the cabin.
Who got the thick of it?
LockDown LAN Ivorian server is now online.
Thank you. The In the Thick of It's definitely on Netflix. Oh, in the UK anyway. Oh, thank God I can sell those.
Rob, are you setting up a dedicated server for that?
Yeah. I'll share the IP address and the password.
I would have so much enjoyed Peter Capaldi, Doctor Who. It'd be like.
I'll
acting
join you
more
when
like
it's up.
Cool.
You would have enjoyed the Peter Capaldi Doctor Who if, and then JK shouted all over you.
If, it
If
didn't
he
have
was
a-
more like Malcolm Tucker.
Oh. Not likely to happen.
I stopped watching Doctor Who the moment Jenna Coleman was no longer in it.
Joe Coleman.
I'm sorry, the moment who?
Jenna Coleman.
Oh, Jennifer. Joe Coleman.
What's she called? Impossible Girl? I forgot what
Yeah, the Impossible Girl.
that was that.
I mean, technically it stopped being good the moment that, he left Ramon on East Bay.
I don't know, I rather like Sarah Jane Adventures. I do wish that she hadn't passed on.
Isn't Elizabeth Sladen's daughter taking over for Big Finish and doing her voice for that?
What? Sarah Jane Adventures is a TV show.
Yeah, I know. Elizabeth Sladen was Sarah Jane, and I think her daughter is like taking over and doing her voices on the Big Finish productions.
Oh,
She's becoming Sarah Jane.
I don't know. I don't follow the Doctor Who fandoms quite that closely.
I mean, if she is, that's pretty cool. Flash is level 3.
Wow, this guy's got an awful lot of crap for sale. I like Triple Strike. It grants the target the ability to strike 3 adjacent enemies with each swing. That's actually pretty awesome. I don't remember that one.
What's that?
Basically, it gives you a cleave on your melee attacks.
How do you get that?
You cast it on yourself.
Oh, combat magic. Oh, that's awesome.
I don't actually. Again, I don't know whether this has been patched or updated, but I simply don't remember that one. But it was many moons ago that I played Dungeon Siege.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
So, do either of you remember what Legends of Arana was? Is it just another map? Is there more skills, more items? Like I know it's a thing, but I don't.
I played it.
I know I've played it. I know I own it. I cannot remember anything about it.
I mean, all I remember about Dungeon Siege 2 is it had a really cool set of pit fights that were really good fun. And you started off in a tree. And that's all I remember.
Yeah, the start of that game is not the most exciting.
So Crystal Void, so what more more? I mean, more of the same. But it's the same. There was no changes in the engine or anything like that.
I just assume it's an expansion.
Back when expansions weren't called DLC.
Because you bought them on CD.
I still remember, I think Guitar Freaks, the DLC for that came on a disc, and you had to boot up with the DLC disc, and then it asked you to put the main disc in to verify you still owned it, and then boot the game up.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, don't forget to press X to turn on health bars. Oh my god, look at you, JK. You're all dressed up, like, properly. I'm still wearing just a bed sheet covered in shit.
Proper armor.
Yeah, you could do with a shave, though.
We all could.
I couldn't.
There's the
Excuse-
guy who's got a skeleton face.
Yeah, excuse me. I'm absolutely as close to shave as it is possible to get.
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
I wouldn't know. I've never stroked a baby's bum, and I find it disturbing that you have.
Well, you're supposed to stroke your own baby's bum, not someone else's baby's bum.
All right.
Yes, stroking your own baby is not.
Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
Right, time to build myself a spaceship.
Right, I'm going to head off and join Rob for some Ivorian before bed.
Okie dokie. It's what? So I mean, people could say it's like Freelancer, but assume for a minute, I last run a Freelancer server in about 2002. So basically, Elite.
The idea of the game is to get to the centre of the galaxy, but you've got to build your way there. So you've got to do a bit of mining, get stuff, and then you can build your own ships. So you can either download ships or design your own ships using various components. And then you have to loot the equipment, but you can make it look however you like. So it's quite cool. You can like get any kind of looking ship you like in any way and mod them.
Because Captain Forever had that, but the problem was that every time you got... So when you killed a ship, you could take bits off it. But the problem was, nearly every combat you did, you lost bits of your ship. So you would end up just basically fighting this horrible losing battle trying to keep your ship together.
In Ivorian, you can change the difficulty setting. So on normal difficulty, you won't lose parts of your ship if your hull is above 80%. But when you go below 80% hull, so if you don't repair yourself or you take too much damage, then you can lose parts of your ship. But you can really easily go into the build menu and just click repair if you're outside of combat, and it like rebuilds all your ship using resources.
Because
You might lose
For
turrets
instance,
and
I
stuff
destroyed
like
at
that.
full speed, knocked half of my ship off, and now I can't control it enough to repair the damn thing.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys have played Reassembly, but Reassembly, unfortunately, I don't think has multiplayer, but it's a similar sort of thing. It's written by an Intel engineer, and it's got some really... It's 2D, but it's got some really clever rendering tech, and you put together these really complex physics ships And that was good fun. Yeah, Shalka, I do agree. I mean, I'm personally against blueprints in games because that means that your no lifer will sit there and create the absolute best thing possible, and then everyone just does that. So you play Ministry, people just go macro, macro, macro. So Brian and I, we've got
This
our
has got a visual thing. So a large, complicated ship costs a lot of money. So you've got to land the damn thing in the first place. But then you've got to equip it as well. So you can earn a lot of money, but you don't have the guns to put on it. It's just
in Ivorian, the loot is a bit more like Diablo style loot. So you go and kill pirates, and they drop like different coloured items. So you have to actually loot your turrets and equipment and stuff still.
Mhm.
So you can't just like build the best ship and then annihilate everything immediately.
The problem, I mean, this is something we touched on, is that you get the demo visuals, and then these insane ships that took someone 2 weeks to make. Whereas I'd much prefer a game where you can create a similar sort of ship in half an hour, like again, to give you more powerful tools to create stuff, rather than give you shitty tools and then just expect you to plow in weeks of time. Factorio suffers from this as well. People just generate enormous blueprints. Oh, here's the perfect, oil extraction setup or whatever, and then no one actually sits there and creates their own ones. They just put down the macro ones they know will be best.
I don't know if that's true. I don't think your average gamer who picks it up, uses blueprints, goes onto wikis, finds the best stuff, is part of communities.
I don't know Factorio in Mindustry. It's so unbelievably easy, and it's beautifully integrated with Discord. So people will post their macros in Discord, and you get a visual preview in Discord. And you go, I like that. You can add it to your library. It's so
Still
easy.
requires your average gamer to be on a Discord server.
True. I mean, Ministry's definitely not an average gamer sort of game. But I get a lot of call for blueprints in Fortress Craft, and I'm like, there are mods to do it, but I don't want to officially support it because part of it is the puzzle solving aspect.
Once you've solved the puzzle, having to re-implement it and remember it 500 times over.
Not something that normally applies though.
Blueprints aren't going to play that game.
But I'm curious to see what will happen with Tactics Forever, because there's nothing stopping you grabbing a ship and then rewriting the author on it, for instance, and giving away ships.
I see the arguments for doing it both ways. I do fall into the camp of I like the blueprints, either because I want to save something I've created, or I want to shorten time, speed up my progression, and use some work that someone else has done.
I mean, Rollercoaster Tycoon's the worst example, because when it first played, you had blueprints, but you could download them, I guess, but it wasn't a thing. So you'd spend a very long time. You'd spend many hours honing your roller coaster to the nth degree. In modern Roller Coaster Tycoons, even editions of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and 3, the game ships like 200 roller coasters, and you just go, that one, click, done. So you end up with nothing to do, because the hour of gameplay you would have spent fiddling with your roller coaster and tweaking the design, you've just boiled down to 1 second of build, and you end up just twiddling your thumbs for a lot of the game, waiting for stuff to happen. So it's a similar thing in Fortune. I don't want people just to go, oh, clicky bonk, I've built the thing. Why isn't there enough to do in the game?
Yeah, I can get that side of it as well, but again, taking that particular example with sort of the Planet Coasters and stuff that have the templates, the sandbox tools are so rich that a lot of people don't want to build the rides, they want to build the environment the rides fit into.
I haven't seen much of Planet Coaster. I have seen Planet Zoo, which I think is the same engine.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. It's just mind-boggling, the detail and the scope of what you can do in those games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I've been building a jungle zoo for Maria to put her animals into, and I'm not building enclosures, I'm not building pets or buildings or anything. I'm just building the terrain and putting trees down and rivers and waterfalls and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just watching it, sort of going, you're pretty much just shipping Unity here. Like, have you seen Let's Game It Out? As a guy who plays games wrong, and he's hilarious with it, and he does Planet Zoo, and it's absolutely just laugh out loud hilarious what he does with it and what the game lets him do. So totally, I've watched everything he's done apart from the Satisfactory stuff, and he's so worth watching.
Definitely up my alley. But yeah, that's like again, there's two camps of people there. There's the ones that want the management style gameplay where they have to build a roller coaster to make the most money to allow to do the next thing, and then there's the group of people that just want to build lots of stuff and have pretty looking things and don't necessarily have the ability to make pretty looking things.
I mean, I think Planet Coaster there's more to do. I mean, Roller Coaster was designed to take up like 5 hours to complete a level, of which you'd spend 2 or 3 hours designing coasters. So when they ship the game with, loads of coasters, they ship the game with hundreds of coasters for every budget and style, and they're all beautiful. You just end up going click and then just waiting for your money to fill up before you could then build the next coaster. And it actually, made the game worse. It looked better, but it had no satisfaction.
I must admit, in like the Roller Coaster Tycoons, I often built my own roller coasters. In Planet Coaster, I don't, and I think a large part of that is the increased difficulty of building these things in complete free form 3D.
Yes.
Versus isometric 2D.
Stop being dead. Yeah, these things hurt really hard. They don't look like they do, but they do. They lunge hard. But yeah, I posted you a screenshot from Tactics Forever. We are looking to getting that up and going again because we are over the next 11 months. I've got 3 games to ship, and Tactics Forever is one of them. So I should be finally releasing it. But our next goal is to find someone to promote it, someone who will play the game a lot, do videos and streams about it, rather than me trying to do that and write the game.
But it will find an audience. Most things do.
Yeah, that unfortunately these days,
the size of it.
Steam it's dead. I mean, the last 3 games I released have done extremely badly on Steam, and I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. I haven't read good games, whatever. And then I went to a big indie meetup in Leeds, and oh my god, everyone's like, fuck me, what the hell has happened to Steam? Like, the market has just collapsed. There's too many mobile games. There's too many free games on Game Pass. The Epic Store gives you two free games a month, whatever it is. It's very hard to compete with free games. You're probably too old to remember there was a big hoo-ha in the mid-80s when we started to get cover-mounted games on cassettes, and all of the publishers basically in the UK got together and said, if you put free games on your cover cassettes, we will no longer supply you games to review. You will not get anything from us. We will not buy adverts in your magazine anymore. And all of the magazines stopped doing cover games overnight. And because they said the problem is that kids, they'll buy 1 game a month. And if they've just got a free game, that might not be the game they want, but why would they bother buying a commercial game? And this all got undone because the agreement was very specifically for a cover cassette. So when floppy disk era came around, it all came right back again. And now Game Pass has done the same thing. I couldn't play everything on Game Pass if I tried. I mean, the current hot game of the minute is Streets of Rage, and Streets of Rage is free on Game Pass.
Yep, and that's brand spanking new.
Yeah. I can't raise you at the minute. I will try when I get closer.
No, these are gonna kill me. It's like 6 of them.
It's like they're not hitting you.
I'll tell you what, Streets Rage 4 though is a very good game.
I will probably. I will pick. I might give it back this weekend on the Xbox.
It has got the same sort of difficulty ramp that the original has, which means it can be mildly frustrating. But genuinely speaking, when you die, you know what you did wrong and how.
Always surprised me they never did an arcade version of it. Sega had kind of given up in the arcades by that point. Oh my god, how many mobs have you got around you?
Yeah.
So if you
finally started hitting my corpse now as well.
If you release and go back to the mana fountain, that resurrects you.
Oh, my internet.
But yeah, hopefully Tactics Forever will do okay. I mean, it's always had extremely good response when I've taken it to places. But really, I don't want to be the one pushing it. I don't have the time. I don't really want to. I don't enjoy that sort of thing. So hopefully we'll find someone who, basically a streamer who goes, I love this game. I want to stream this game for 2 hours every night and just commentate on it. And I totally want to get involved and I want 10%. I'm like, absolutely, dude, let's do it. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, like I pay $12 a month for Humble Bundle.
10%.
Wow, someone's lagged. Yeah, Humble Bundle again is a freaking nightmare to compete with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting 10 games a month for $12, and at least 2 of them are always semi-recent AAA titles.
Mhm.
And rather than just playing the newest, hottest title, I just lag behind by 3 months.
Yeah, the problem is there is a race to the bottom. So for about 18 months, the Switch eStore was the place to be. Great money, great money. And then all the indie titles, which came along 6 months after opening, had been on there a year. And Nintendo went to them, you can do what you like with the pricing now, it's in your control. Promptly, whole fucking shit ton of games for the Switch at $1 a go.
Yeah.
It's like, don't race to the bottom.
This is the problem, isn't it? Developers are kind of doing it to themselves, so they
Yep.
all stuck to their guns. But then you'll just get some Chinese or Russian or whatnot developer who just go, that's fine, we're selling volume.
Yeah, the thing is, Valve are really anti-race to the bottom. So what they've done is they did race to the bottom to get everyone into their ecosystem, and now they don't want you to. That's why you can't get 4-packs of games anymore. We wanted to do a 4-pack for Fortress Craft, and we wanted to do a 50-pack of Fortress Craft. If for no other reason other than say, we've got a 50-pack, run a 50-man server, do it for your guild. And Valve went, no. And we were like, but we really want to. The problem is that those 4-packs and things, they're inherently gifts. You can always give them away. So they're very prone to reselling. And so Valve didn't want that. And we're like, but all these games did it and they've made money. And I love 4. I've got a bunch of games in my inventory just because I bought 4-packs of things. And it was annoying that I missed the boat on making a whole bunch of money in a way that Valve don't consider to be acceptable anymore. Right, I'm gonna.
It is interesting. Sort of, like Valve's response to Epic seems to be none at all.
Oh yes! Oh my god! Oh yeah, Valve's response to Epic has been phenomenal, but not to you.
Yeah, as I say,
To me,
behind the
to the back end.
scenes,
Oh
yeah.
my god! So if you go to the partner.steampower.com, it's now Swish. It goes on about how many impressions they get, and they're the biggest marketing this, and I'm like, holy shit! I haven't seen this updated in a decade. And then it updated shortly after Epic went live. It's very obviously a response.
So we got the new the new client with the updated store pages and things, but they were in the works for a long time already, so they just got rushed and pushed out.
Yeah, well, the new capsules and the layout and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like otherwise they haven't done much. They're not.
They don't need to. They're still miles ahead of
This is
everybody
it.
else. That said, they will probably need to at some point. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to.
Well, there's quite a few games that have now left their exclusive period on Epic are making substantially more coming over to Steam.
Well, Borderlands ain't one of them. I'll tell you that. It's weird. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go grab a drink. Try and keep me alive. I'll be back in a second with a drink, and then I will tell you why the Epic Store annoys me. I know you're all looking forward to that. I'm back in a moment.
Let's see if we can get Adam killed in the first fight. Success!
Hello, can you hear me?
Can now.
Oh. It says, looks like Discord is not detecting input from the mic.
Now, what did I say? Keep me alive. What happened? Wasn't kept alive.
He ran into the first biggest mob he could find and said, "Let's see if we can get Adam killed." That's what fucking happened.
Ah, well. So I bought Borderlands on day one on the Epic Store because, like most people, I'm not a fanboy about what fucking website I buy my games from. And it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the Epic Store at all. It was weird watching people start to just say very odd things like, "Oh, but it doesn't have user reviews, or it doesn't have groups or curators." And like, sorry, you actually saying these ideas were good? Like, these ideas were just shit that Valve came up with one Saturday afternoon and implemented. So I bought it on day one. I bought the full thing. Bought the season pass. Quite happy. And the season pass gets you access to a couple of unique skins, nothing exciting, and you get the first 4 bits of DLC, which are major chunks of DLC. And that's fine. The first one came out quite quickly, and then they did their free event, the Halloween event. That was quite cool. Everyone got that. And then nothing. And then nothing. And then nothing. And then it came out on Steam at the same time as the second bit of DLC. So I paid a small fortune. It was like 90 quid for Borderlands 3 plus
What's that in real dollars?
120, 130.
Wow, that's expensive.
Because that's the game plus the season pass. It's 40 quid game plus 40 quid season pass, essentially. Bought 2 copies so I could play it. And then, so the game comes out, the first bit of DLC comes out, and then it comes out on Steam exactly a year, literally to the day, along with the second bit of DLC. So Brian buys it to play it. He buys it at a 50% discount. And I'm like, but hold on, I paid on the exclusive, my 1-year exclusive, I paid for my fucking DLC. It's been, whatever it is, 14 months now, and I've got 2 of my 4 bits of DLC. I'm like, this is no exclusive at all. That's the last time I'm ever paying for a season pass. I assumed, badly...
Epic is laughing all the way to the bank.
Yes. I mean, I assumed I would get all 4 bits of my DLC before the Steam release. I thought that was kind of the point, but apparently not. So, yeah, I was really quite annoyed at that. I mean, the game itself's great. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. Some of the story and cutscenes, not so much. But the game itself, the run and gun, very good. Loot balance issues, yes, but overall, a good game. But Borderlands 2 had such a wonderful approach to DLC. 4 major bits of DLC, half a dozen afternoon-long bits of DLC. It was just so good, and I was assuming, silly me, they wouldn't balls this up, and they completely did. But unfortunately, so Brian and I have been playing it. We've been trying to do some of the monster rounds, which requires getting a group of 4 people together, and fuck me, is no one playing it. It has gone. Now,
Well, if you can convince me to complete the No Man's match quicker, I'll be there to play with you.
Nah. So part of the weirdness, though, is he's talking about sales and stuff. They made a very big deal to make extremely clear that they had a higher active player base and had sold more copies on the Epic Store than Borderlands 2 had on Steam. That they had absolutely grown the market, that they had not suffered, as everyone said they would do, by going to the Epic Store. But, as I said, it feels like a bit of a short-lived thing.
Of course it is. It's that sort of argument. They're saying, "Oh, we've sold more copies of our third game than our second game."
Well,
it's a bit of a
it's
one of those arguments where it's like, well, your market's 4 times the size,
but only on the Epic Store. And everyone was saying no one will buy the game on the Epic Store. Everybody will wait a year, and they basically just made the point. Absolutely, that's not true. We've not lost any money at all. I also did the maths. So Borderlands is an Epic game. Epic give you Unreal for free, but take a percentage of your cash. Borderlands has paid somewhere in the region of $300 to $400 million to Epic. I guarantee you the Epic exclusivity was nothing more than we'll waive the licensing rights to the Unreal Engine this time round.
yeah,
And that's a couple of... And this thing, people are like, oh, they shouldn't be buying it. Right? That's a couple of $100 million. They just dropped
Speaking
them
of
out.
Unreal, is it on our 2 playlist?
the original Unreal.
Unreal Tournament, yes. Unreal, Could be. I mean, I think I really even supported co-op actually. Yeah, Unreal Tournament certainly is.
We haven't done any like deathmatch since the last Doom.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, we did Quake, but someone
I missed out on that one.
someone got unhappy when I just started to destroy him a lot.
Oh well.
No, it was actually quite funny.
Essentially,
Essentially,
switch to Half-Life, so you know I can crowbar you all efficiently.
well, what happened is I killed JK, and then
Half-Life
JK spawned in front of me, so I killed him again. So I ran away. So then he spawned in front of me 4 more times. I would just murder, and I'm like, what the hell? Like to the point where I'm wondering what's going on. Interestingly, we'd already played Doom, and we use a modern version of Doom called Xandorum, which is specifically multiplayer focused, and it has an option. You can either respawn at a random location, or you can respawn at the location furthest from any other players. And I'm like, it's obvious, like that's the way to do it. But surprised me that Quake hadn't got that option and had never gained it.
No, Quake's far too old. It just randomly spawned.
Yeah, but it's not old Quake. I mean, we ran new Quake, but they hadn't put in that particular feature.
Quake 1 or Quake 2?
We played Quake 1. I did play Quake 2 RTX briefly, going right. My frame rate's massively dropped, and it only looks slightly better. I did like Quake 2. It's weird because basically Quake 2 was trying to be Doom. Why they didn't just do a sequel to Doom, I don't know. But in Quake 2, you run and gun a lot more than Quake, which is quite slow paced.
Yeah, Quake 3 is still the pinnacle of first-person shooters.
Wow, arena shooters maybe.
Yeah, arena shooters.
But yeah, I would like to. I'd like to do some more Doom deathmatch. I said if we can maybe get some lunchtime session, just a brief one. I mean, Doom was really good. I've forgotten how very good Doom is. Becca, you just hit the monster then. Thank you. You got through about 4 potions then, just trying to resurrect me.
Got an
I was getting
amulet or
nature
something.
magic skill ups. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Oh man, you've upgraded your amulet.
Yep.
Oh, what's your new one do?
5% chance to hit the enemy with a melee weapon.
Huh.
I still miss quite a lot.
That's still pretty crap. But it's surprising playing some of these old games when you find that there are very few other games of this ilk. I remember this when I completed Terraria. I was like, I want some more Terraria clones, and I just couldn't find any on the market anywhere. Going, I want more. I've completed the only one there is, and now there are a bunch. But some of them quite good.
See, isn't that the good thing about being a game developer? If there isn't a game that you like that there's a clone of, you can make your own.
Yeah, but it takes a while. I mean,
Yeah, well, anything done right does.
well, yeah, you say that. My second most successful game took me 3 days to write, so not always true. But Nomancer is coming up for 13 months of development now,
Oh.
which is still pretty quick.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, for like 1 or 2 dev projects.
One dev.
Very short
One-
period of time.
1 dev, 1 artist, 2 map designers. Well, Shellcraft, I mean, to a certain degree, Fortresscraft was me just doing my own Minecraft. So, you know, Amputee was me doing my own Surgeon Simulator. Nomancer is me doing my own Gauntlet. So, you know, to a degree, that is a valid approach, but it does take a long time. And I did have...
So I will be waiting for your own Dungeon Siege.
I would like to.
This is the other problem, though, isn't it? There are so many things that you would want to do and you could do, but at the end of the day, you've got to pay some bills.
Well, the next thing is my own copy of Gauntlet, and my thing after that is my own copy of Transport Tycoon.
love Transport Tycoon.
Yeah, I said I've got a twist, and I think it's good, and I've detailed it out. Now I've detailed it out in the document. I'm looking at it going, I really want to play this. So that's always good. I find this a lot with games. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to write this game. I just want to play it, and unfortunately, that is.
I remember you experimenting with the concept of doing a Transport Tycoon, but in space.
Oh, LT Max. Long-term mining and combat simulation. Working title.
He also experimented with like burnout crash junctions, but with like a truck.
Yeah, God, that was a nightmare to get performance up. The other issue with that, I mean, realistically, was tuning the levels took so long.
I don't know where we're going, by the way.
This way.
Oh, I
Even
found
have,
things over here.
You haven't done any Unity. I think it's quite likely. Yes, Schalke, very similar to that. I think it's quite likely we will be looking at this Dungeon Offenders game. So Dungeon Defenders, but with none of the tower building stuff. Because I've played a lot of Dungeon Defenders, and I found that most people don't want any of the tower stuff. They just want to run around in essentially an arena shooter with guns. And I've got a couple of cool ideas, so I might do something with that.
I found that like every time I played all of the burnout games, including 4, all I wanted to do was crash junction, and then let my dog wolf in the background.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, the crash junctions were really popular, but
The best part.
well, they're an enormous amount of work.
Yeah,
But you say that, didn't,
makes them the best part.
Did some of the guys behind it go on to create, was it Danger Zone?
Yeah, that's shit.
Danger Zone was shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played it.
That's-
I've only played the
Number 2
first
as
one. I don't
well.
know if
Yeah.
they like improved it in the second one, but it was definitely missing something that crash junctions were.
yeah. It
Dude,
missed.
chill.
I mean, I can tell you exactly what it missed, and it missed Chris Roberts, who was the guy in charge of the crash junctions. He doesn't work there anymore.
Who's that?
Chris Roberts, different Chris Roberts. I'm at a mana potion, so I can't heal you.
I got some mana, some health. This is what you see a lot of the time, isn't it? That there are key individuals in businesses and companies that, when they leave,
Yeah.
cannot be easily replicated.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I know. Like there was this company called Criterium that made like really good games, but there was this one guy that drove a WRX, and when he left, they went to complete shit between Burnout 3 and 4. God damn, they went crap. I mean,
wait, who?
I have no idea who you could be talking about.
I never drove a WRX.
This guy sounds like he's
it,
amazing.
like a Type R Subaru. It's close to a WRX.
Oh, that's fighting talk. That is. No, I was never Burnout 4. Alright, you guys have gone in two different directions. Backer, you're going the wrong way. Dave, you're going the
I'm
right way.
standing in the same spot, waiting to be.
I'm being melted by laser beams.
Yeah, I remember the day Chris Roberts left Criterion. He was the happiest man on earth because he was leaving to join EA Brightlight. So he was the lead designer on all the Harry Potter games, and he's like, I'm going to do the Harry Potter games. And he
Those weren't any good.
oh, they were. Oh, some of them were. Oh,
I remember having to do like trace the spell pattern in order to cast.
but yeah, I mean, he got to see all the films before they released. So they'd watch the films with no special effects on, like early cuts of them, so they knew what was going on and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, oh, so jealous.
That's got to be a weird experience watching a pre-cut with no VFX.
Right,
or
I have a copy of the Incredible Hulk with no special effects on it. It's quite funny. There's an X-Men going around with no special effects on it as well.
It's just funny to think that like these days actors and things don't even know what they've acted in because half of what they've watched is VFX.
It depends on the film, and I do know a lot of companies they're trying to avoid that situation. because it was particularly bad on the first Lord of the Rings, apparently. Not so much in the later ones, because it was in 3D, so you couldn't use quite so much forced perspective, as you actually had to start building sets. But yeah, in a lot of the Star Wars films, there was just green.
I mean, have you seen the new tech where they're using massive?
Oh, the
OLED
the
screen
Mandalorian tech. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's massive OLED screens and Unreal. And what it does is it generates the image that joins onto the set depending on where the camera is. So even if you don't get it quite right, you could bother not matting the high quality shipping later, but it means all the reflections and lighting is right. It's amazing. But I wonder, because when I saw the Mandalorian, it said at the end, thanks to the Unreal Engine. I'm like, are they doing their special effects in Unreal? I can't believe they're doing the special effects in Unreal, but they're using it for the real time. Yeah, well, it's real time. It's so that the spaceship only goes up 2 feet, and above that is a 3D spaceship that looks just right from the position of the camera. Super clever.
And they got the ability to change the lighting conditions in real time.
Yeah, it's the same tech they used on Gravity originally.
Come on now.
Well,
I mean, Lord of the Rings and a lot of current video games would not be anywhere as near as good as they would be without Andy Serkis.
don't ever say that in front of a mocap artist. They might punch you in the face. Andy Serkis has done nothing but big himself up and completely trashed the entire 3D animation industry. And he is widely reviled in the professional circles. Because he's like, oh yes, I just do the acting, they just take it and put it in. And someone will say, I spend weeks cleaning up a few seconds of footage from the mocap stuff. However Andy Serkis thinks it works is not how it works. So yeah. I personally have no opinion, having never worked with Andy Serkis. So that is simply second-hand information.
Yeah, but he's got to be the second best Needle there ever was.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't him that did it. Like, all he did was act. It wasn't him that made the special effects. It wasn't him that made the pipeline. He's just one small cog, but he's the cog who is an actor. So he's the one who gets the people to talk about. Sorry, did I just shatter your illusions? Sorry, I apologise. Like what?
I don't
It's
know.
lovely.
I don't think Smog would be in the same way that he was produced without the cover.
Without the animators that actually animated it and the sound effects artists that produced it and the lightings, no, it wouldn't have been.
They were important too, but he brought him to life. He was like, I mean, the animators did bring him to life to that extent, but there was some better acting involved. Other people could not have done as well.
Well, the thing is, you say that, but I've done mocap. It's not that hard. As long as you're a fairly overacty person in your natural life, which I definitely am, it's just not that difficult. I mean, he's doing the voices and stuff, but
and the facial animations as well as.
Well, no, he's just that's just his face. It's the artist doing the actual animations as well.
Right, but without his face, the artist wouldn't have anything to go on with.
But now the important thing is to note that barring my character in this game, everyone's got a face. So he doesn't have a special face. He's just got a regular old face.
Well, we'll see your face.
No, absolutely. But if I cover it in tracking dots, you probably want to see it.
I don't know. It depends on if you covered it with the right animator or not.
Anyway, as I said, he did manage to piss off a huge swathe of the art, the film art industry by basically saying it's all me, and then everyone's sort of going, like, is that what your producer told you? Because it ain't. There's months and months of work after he's done his prancing about in a mocap suit.
Yeah, that's like any actor saying it's all me and then ignoring the fact that they have a makeup artist and a hairstylist and a costume department. And
Yes.
a director and writers.
Well, a good actor never would. A good actor would be humble and realize they are one cog in a machine, whereas Andy Serkis basically acted like a level 12. I can cast something now. Andy Serkis basically acted like a prat.
Yeah, it's.
Are there any artists or actors that do not act like complete crap?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh man, fuck you! I was gonna say that.
Who?
Keanu Reeves.
guy's a legend.
Yeah, okay. The exception is not the rule.
Okay. Tom Hanks.
And Colin Hanks.
I found it funny that like he spent an entire that much time on an island with like.
Brian, I am gonna need.
After
Wait.
that island, he like completely hunted for a woman named Wilson so he could like carry out his fantasies.
I am gonna have to stop you there. I'm gonna have to. That was a film that didn't really happen. That was a character that the actor Tom Hanks played. He wasn't actually cast away on an island.
But he still married Wilson.
It would have been. So sorry. Nice actors. Oh, God. Ewan McGregor.
I might as well have stuck it up my ass for all the good it's done. Sorry, that's my favorite Ewan McGregor quote.
Right. Okay. I was like, I may have missed something here. Tom Hardy. I can go on. There's loads. Who? Sorry.
Emilia Clarke.
Oh yes. Oh, did you see her when she was a basketball game and they embarrassed her by reading out her full Khaleesi name and she's just going shut up, shut up, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. She is apparently very nice as well.
She's precious. I love her.
Bill Cosby. No, not that one.
I love Emilia Clarke because she has an Airedale. They're the best dogs.
How many nice actors do you need me to name off the top of my head? By the way, I haven't even googled nice actors yet. Weird Al.
He's not an actor.
He acts in all his videos.
That's not acting.
He also acted in a very famous cult film called UHF. So I take your.
So surely, if you're paid to perform, that's acting, right?
Yeah, like me, I have driven on a racetrack in a race-prepped car for money. I am a professional race driver.
But you're not a licensed professional racer.
I do not have a license. No, I think actually my driving license counts as a Class E, but that's not really very useful. I can't do competitions with it. I was looking at doing it with Taylor, but I got to the bit where they're like, now you need to find a doctor who will do an ECG, and I'm like, oh, it sounds like way too much effort now.
Yeah, so I
think it'd be rather entertaining to watch you and Sabine Schmitz on a racetrack.
We were on the Nürburgring for one of our Euro trips, and she was there test driving prototype cars.
She's an atrocious presenter. I have no doubt she's brilliant at driving cars around the Nürburgring. I have no doubt, but oh my god, she's awful. She's so awful to listen to.
She's German. It's a German thing.
Yes, she's German. I get that. Why would you hire a German person? I don't mind.
Because she holds quite a lot of records on the Nürburgring.
Great, so she should drive around the Nürburgring and not present. How many records does she hold for presenting? None, apart from maybe worst presenter ever on Top Gear.
It's hard to find girls that are that passionate about cars and that knowledgeable about them at the same time.
I think well, you say that. I don't think they need to be. I mean, there's very little in Top Gear that's just people quickly improvising. There's a script, so they just be good at reading the script. But yeah, I suspect very much they were desperate to get a woman in. And she knows her shit, don't get me wrong, and she can certainly drive, but I just struggle to listen to her trying to deliver her lines and do banter. Germans don't do banter.
This is the banter.
I will mock you and you will laugh, yes?
Well, we know our German accents are appalling.
I mean, come on now. We know why Germans aren't funny.
Excuse me, my German accent's hilarious, but my German accent.
Well, your German accent is hilarious, but Germans in general aren't funny.
My German.
I mean, they spent the 1930s and 40s murdering all the funny people.
I think you'll find nothing happened in that period of time.
Yes, everybody was on vacation.
Oh, pair of strength, pair of gloves, +2 combat magic.
Oh, I'll take those.
You might be able to use them, I can't. The problem is that my German accent is exactly of the 3 little frigs from Shrek, yeah?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's not from Germany, so now you look stupid.
Yeah, that's Austria. But then so was Hitler, so,
Oh!
So on average, Austria has done, just exactly neutral.
Hey, my family came from Austria.
when did your family come from Austria? I'll come to heal you.
In the late 30s, early 40s?
1830s?
No, 1930s.
Ah, it doesn't really count. Too long ago.
Yeah, I had a great grandmother that had these nice little tattoos, these numbers on her.
Shako, doesn't everyone's family come from Africa?
This is true. They do.
Are you from the good bit of Africa or the racist bit?
South, the racist bit.
Now, I have hung around with Americans and I have hung around with South Africans, and oh my fucking god, nothing America ever does comes close to the racism in South Africa. It's just, it's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, we can definitely learn a few things from that.
But
They
like,
are funny though.
well, I was gonna say, so I used to work with a South African guy, and he chatted with me, and he said he had a real problem with his boss, who was black, because he says he was raised in a household where black people were servants. You don't talk to the help, and he's like, he's in England, and he's trying so hard to adjust to a literal lifetime of treating black people as a literal lower caste. But he was on.
Apartheid was a really bad time.
Well, I don't know how old you think I am, but this weren't that long ago. But he was on a mailing
Well,
list.
Are you so old that like they wrote a book about like starting a fire in a bush in the desert?
No, they didn't write the book. It was carved onto stone.
Ah,
Yeah.
you must believe these 10 commandments.
Actually, it's possible that it wasn't even carved on stone. It may have been
Not real?
hand painted onto cave walls. What I'm saying is you're old, Adam.
Thank you. So he was on a mailing list of South African jokes, and he would burst out in laughter at these jokes. Like, oh, tell me the joke. And it'd be a joke about how there was a guy on a game show, and his wife was there, and the host was asking questions, and then they revealed it, and then the guy behind the curtain was black. And I'm like, what? Like, that would be the punchline was, and he was black. And I'm like, dude, I don't even like, even if I put my racist hat on, I can't see how that's in the slightest bit funny. It's just a complete non sequitur at the end of your slightly rubbish joke.
That's culture for you.
Well, I'm not sure I go so far as to get South Africa culture.
A black sheriff. Yeah, worked for Blazing Saddles.
I still see so many people going, oh, you couldn't do Blazing Saddles, not with the modern climate. And I say to that person one thing: you didn't see Sausage Party, did you? I went to see a Sausage Party with
Or Jojo Rabbit. Have you seen Jojo Rabbit yet?
I have. I saw Sausage Party with a friend of mine, and I just sat there, and about halfway through the orgy scene, I just went, is this legal? Like, are we allowed to watch this? Am I on a list now of some sort? I did like Jojo. I watched it. I mean, Oscar-winning film. The problem I had with Jojo Rabbit is it was a very funny film with some extremely funny and clever lines about a really deeply uncomfortable subject. And I'm like, I want to laugh at the jokes they're making about Jewish people, but I don't want anyone to think that I'm being racist. Like,
I mean, Mel Brooks did the same thing with the producers. I mean, Hitler and what was it? Springtime for Hitler in Germany.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's a whole like musical. It's Springtime for Hitler in Germany, the winter for Poland and France.
But I mean, with Jojo Rabbit, I mean, I was like, did they actually think this about Jews? Did they genuinely think that Jews had horns? And I'm like, I have to look this up. And apparently, yes, they would spread propaganda that Jews could read minds and have horns. And I'm like, did no one stop and go, this is obviously bollocks? This is the 1930s, right? This isn't the fucking 1500s.
Tropic Thunder?
Oh, that's a good film. But I'm not sure that's going to do with Jewish people.
Nothing to do with Jewish people, but it's got something to do with Robert Downey Jr. blacking up for the entire film.
Yes, but that's done ironically, so that's fine. That's the point.
You never go full retard.
I have to say it was literally during the credits of that film where I went, holy fucking shit, that's Tom Cruise. I literally didn't spot it the whole way through. I love that film. It's so much funnier than it has any right to be.
Chubby Tom Cruise.
Well, because he only agreed to be in it if he could be obnoxious and be made up so he didn't look like himself. So I'm like, and it was just brilliant. It was utterly a fantastic casting, and I loved all the folk trailers as well at the beginning. I might watch that again tomorrow.
So I'm not normally a Ben Stiller fan, but that film was pretty good.
Yes, that and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched all of Thunderbirds over the last week, and I've watched all of Terrorhawks over the last week. Just while I've been working on tedious stuff. So it's Starfleet next, and then I might watch Starfleet X Bomber, and then I might watch Tropic Thunder.
Easy.
Fun fact: Tropic Thunder. You know the nerdy guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
Ah. I did not know that.
I'm full of use. This is why I win the pub quizzes. My absolute
Yes, but have you watched Tiger King?
yes, all of it. My absolute favourite time, by the way, I won the big game pub quiz was where I was only there with Lochner and he doesn't eat pizza. So when Jake said we won, and when Taylor said and team, and I always put a fake team name down, like so you guys don't know it's me. So I don't want any. I want to win on my own course. So when he called out my name, it was just me that stood up and he went, "Is it just you?" And I went, "Yeah." It's like, right, okay. That was the one where you said you had the one about the old joysticks, and I had most of them. I'm like, oh, that's the Wu-Tang joystick, and I've said that's the Zip Stick, and that's the Speed Racer one.
You're so cool.
I am cool. There's a poster that says I'm cool. Someone linked that to me the other day going, is this really you? I'm like, yes, that is me. Where did you find a picture of me and a poster on the internet?
Was it for a queue for pizza?
It was. Someone found that and said, is this you? I've no idea who it was. It just completely randomly messaged me out the blue, said, is this you? I'm like, yes. Yes, it is. What's going on?
How do you know where I live?
Are you from the...
Why are you in my room?
It's a new service that Amazon Prime give.
I still haven't seen the Tiger King.
Oh my god. Have you seen Super 8? The J.J. Abrams film that revolves around a monster and a train crash.
Yes.
Right. Take that train crash. That train crash was amazing, wasn't it? All the bits happening and it goes on. Take that train crash and extend it in super slow motion over 8 episodes and a bonus episode. And that is Tiger King. You just honestly cannot believe. And I was very good. I waited all the way till I watched the last episode. Then I quickly went in and just Googled, is Tiger King real? Is this made up? And holy shit, it's real. Apparently, the only thing they did to really change anything was they edited out all of the racism to make the Tiger King himself appear nicer. Because apparently he was
completely bonkers to the point to where like somebody showed up in a slingshot with a skeleton in the passenger seat, and I was just like, okay,
it wasn't even mentioned. But yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you, as there's some unbelievably shocking moments. Again, one of them I was genuinely surprised that they were allowed to show it. Absolutely, very surprised that was not illegal. Like,
well,
honestly,
the funny thing is like the Netflix show is just basically a highlight reel of the YouTube channel, so you can actually go watch it all on YouTube, and it's that much more intense.
Oh god, yeah, because it all is on there, isn't it? Fuck me. Just. I mean, there are several things to take away from it. Apparently, guys will go gay for meth, and you can buy a tiger for $2,000. Like, what?
And if you listen to it long enough, Joe Exotic's songs actually become decent.
And what was the other one? It was there are more tigers in captivity in Texas, just Texas, than in the whole rest of the world. Like in the than in the wild. That's it. Which is just like that's bad, but at the same time, surely that's kind of good. Like I don't think
only if they can be released. If they've been domesticated, then you're buggered.
When you watch Tiger King, you will learn that there is no such thing as a domesticated tiger. That's not a thing. Oh, trust me, it's not true. I would recommend.
And you're completely glossing over that bitch Claire fucking bastard.
I would recommend that your dear delicate lady wife not watch it with you. There are some so many moments with so many beautiful and adorable and wonderful baby tigers. It's lovely, and some moments that are absolutely horrific. I've avoided watching. What's it called? Don't Piss Off the Internet. Is it the one about the guy who uploaded a video of him torturing a cat, and then 4chan found him, and yeah, I've avoided watching that one because I'm like, I don't think I want to.
Seeds to ruin his entire
Oh, this one's
life.
got a magical staff. Look at him. He's got a staff for you. Oh,
He does.
Wait, how come that he's waving a sword around that turns into a staff when he waves it?
Yeah, well, he's got a staff for you. He decided to wallop me with it.
I'm not running away.
That's fine. You run away. Oh. Okay, guy. Oh, they're hitting my pet. I thought they were hitting my corpse. Slash crouch. Right, slash teabag. Oh. Talking about Borderlands 3, it's got a complete emote system. You can unlock and pay for loads and loads of emotes. I've never used a one apart from by accident. It's one of those games. They've obviously spent a lot of money on stuff that has just not panned out.
Well, colour me surprised.
What was the game that came out between Borderlands 2 and 3 by the same guys?
The pre-sequel.
No. That was a different company. Bloodborne? Bloodbath?
Bloodborne is a game.
Was it by 2K? Was it by Gearbox?
It was not by Gearbox, no.
Blood Rain? No. It's a game where it's like a 4-player, 4 versus 4 arena-based, somewhere between like Borderlands and Left 4 Dead.
I remember Blood Rain. Lots of jiggly bits.
Hello. I gave you your favourite food. I've loved you. I've given you painkillers. I've given you treats. I've brushed you. I can't pick you up because you're standing in a stupid place.
I didn't get any of that.
You don't stand behind my chair and meow. Who knows what you get if you did that? You would get the squirt bottle. That's what you would get.
That's harsh.
I don't have a squirt bottle. I have a bottle of watermelon spray that makes Cephas smell like a beautiful princess, though. Now, part of it, Cephas wants me to go to bed so he can cuddle up to
after
me
like
and be a pain.
25 years, you can't understand what he's saying.
I can understand what Cephas says.
He just said, "Daddy, you need to go into the other room and grab me some pound streets and feed them to me. After you finish feeding me the pound streets, you need to fill my bowl with the fish food."
He's literally just finished a plate of fish food. What he wants now is to sit on my lap because Dora's in his bed. And it's so I have massive beanbags throughout my house for Cat, and she's only very small, so she's taking up the tiniest proportion of the corner of the beanbag that Cepheus just would fill. Just go and lay on her. Think of her as a tiny warm pillow. He's happy now. He's laying on me and purring.
I'm happy, Daddy.
Dora, on the other hand, is absolutely not a lap kitty. She hates being on my lap. She hates cuddles. She hates affection, except at 3 o'clock in the morning when it suits her. But yeah, it's she's an odd one.
Well, our youngest, Murphy, he was like that until Bonnie and Disney passed away.
I'm going to give Dora till she's about 3. I don't think Cephas and Ajax were particularly cuddly till they were about 3 years old either.
Yeah. Oh, the mobs have changed.
We're about to leave. We're about to go out to the Dark Forest, which is ironically where we left off last night, but we were really struggling.
God, why you stupid bitch? Why the hell would you run in the middle of all these mobs and die?
I didn't mean to. Why
Hey.
did you follow me?
Not you.
Be healed. I think I led them all away. Oh, some of them.
I got mauled by something that's its entire torso is a mouth.
Fuck off and tether, you pieces of shit.
I can respawn as a ghost and haunt Adam.
There is a respawn point not very far away, but if you come to where I am, there's no point in going any further. Like, by the time you go all the way to the respawn point and run back here, you'll have saved no time. I'm going to switch to Dancing Zap because I need to level that skill. You are my favourite puss, of course you are. You hear that, Dora? He's my favourite puss. You are a malevolent little shitbag gargoyle.
Tell her how you really feel.
I will. If she stood up and stood English, I would tell her even more. She's alright, she just doesn't understand when to stop, which is a lot more of the time than she actually does stop.
Yeah, that's most women.
I ain't touching that one with a barge pole. I have a fire sword here as well, but I don't know why I've got that. I read it as the Fireblade of Singing and was a little bit disappointed, to be quite frank.
Is it any good? Yeah, it's massively more damaging than one I've been.
Is it two-handed?
It is not.
Oh, is it?
Flame sword thingy.
So you've been carrying this around for ages?
No, I picked it up quite recently.
Okay.
Next to the round table.
I, very weirdly, got recommended by YouTube a hardstyle remix of the Biggest Dickest scene from Life of Brian in German. And it's
Wow.
weird because I know it. And it's like, yeah, that's Brian? No, that Brian. I'm like, but he hasn't got a speech impediment. Like, they've gotten rid of the joke, which is that he had a speech impediment. So Brian is just correcting whatever the guy's name is, Terry Gilliam. But they just seem to have just skipped that bit. It's a very odd scene in German.
Well, this happens a lot in translation, isn't it? Translating jokes is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, but they should. Well, it is, but you're supposed to be good at it. Oh, guys.
These things are hard.
Yes.
I
Dor-
see this is why you died from last time.
Dora, you are not joining me on my lap. This is not happening.
So there's no way we can actually get up and fight. these
No,
guys,
we should all respawn and just wander back and then underlay in together. You've got a fiery sword, eh? You should be fine.
We killed the main one, the special one.
Oh, that probably would help. I don't. Is it Freak that makes them fight each other?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I hope my best is a lot better than yours.
Don't know what my guess is.
Well, apparently you didn't have a guess. I really wish I could do my inventory while I'm dead.
We do routine before our king.
I'm sorry I have no cat cam, by the way. Tiffus is being particularly adorable. He's just on my lap, just laying there, gargling and drooling. I bought you some breath spray because your breath smells. It smells like cat food.
I just looked at the time. I'm late with dinner. But that would explain why both dogs are leaning against me.
Giving you the puppy eyes.
Well,
No, giving me the fetus now, or we're gonna bite your fucking arm off, lies.
oh, let me cast spirit armor on you.
Here they come.
You've got so much magic armor around you. You just look like you're wearing a sort of a neon suit.
Wow, I still can't take that many hits from them. There we go. I mean, they're pretty weak.
I've switched back to Pharaoh. This should speed things up a bit.
I'm slightly confused. I just picked up a staff and it has 1 to 4 piercing damage. Does that mean ignore? I would assume piercing damage means goes through the first target onto the next one, but that doesn't even work for a staff.
No, I think it bypasses armor, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I guess it must do, but that wouldn't have been what my guess was.
Told you my guess was better than yours.
Apparently so. Shows what I know.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Well, hopefully Rob fixes his internet, and if Max joins us as well, that will give us a whole 6 players, which would be quite really quite cool. I'd like to get 8.
I don't think Rob is going to be able to join us until he actually installs or actually owns a proper computer with a proper operating system.
Well, he does, but he's running in a VM.
I thought he was playing on a Mac.
Yeah, in a VM running Windows. We're fairly sure it's the VM setup that's screwing him over. He's got it's the bridge
Right.
between his
So
physical
he
hardware and
needs
his.
to have, like, he needs to make a dual boot system so he can actually boot into Windows instead of running on a virtual machine.
Right, doing that is
Even my dog agrees. Yes, you agree too. I heard you.
unfortunately that is fairly tricky trying to get a Windows working on a Mac.
No, it's not. They make a bootloader for it.
Yeah, I can boot Windows, but then you try and find support for slightly obscure bit of Mac hardware. Number one, it's better than it was, but it's still.
So we go back to my original statement that he needs to
Well, he needs
actually
to order the PCs.
own a decent.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he is in the process of ordering it. Why is my character? I told him to heal you, and they're just standing like a lemon. All right, I'm down.
Yeah, I managed to get one of these guys.
Well,
There's a revive thing like 3 feet away.
there's no penalty for reviving. Absolutely none at all.
Apart from the run back,
Uh,
which is the way it should be done.
Well, yeah, but mine's like,
3 feet away.
oh no, I can switch on a run penalty. We can drop equipped items or inventory.
Oh, I see. Nah, that sucks. Don't want to do that.
Well, Dungeons teaches a number of interesting ways to play. So I can limit the length of the server time, and I can force you onto new characters. So what you could do is you could say, right, we're going to play for an hour, new characters only, see who gets the most kills. But you could set that up with you, so you drop all your loot on death. So ganking other people for their gear becomes an option. Kind of like, I think that was kind of like a deathmatch setup, but with an RPG. Like I think
It's
that's
like a semi-survival mode. If you're playing in the multiplayer world,
Yeah.
you might not even see each other for 10, 20 minutes.
I guess they just invented DayZ, like 20 years ahead of DayZ there.
Yeah, pretty much. What is that weird thing over there? With a face on it. Significant in any way?
Don't think so. I mean, it's like a glowing pile of mushrooms and No, just don't forget that face probably would have just been a complete blur in the original. It's only because we've up-resed it that it's even recognisable as a face. That up-resing it, I don't know if you've seen, there's a video doing the rounds recently of a piece of footage from like 1870 or something. They 4K up-resed it. It's unbelievable. Like the original, it has like a little girl walking past and she just looks like the girl from The Ring. It's about 4 pixels. And then in the other, I mean, she's not clear, but you can make out, it's a human. It's a really incredible tech. This also appears to be a dead end, by the way.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Oh no, over to the left.
Just die, you stupid thing.
Just die already.
I like how after my attack animation, my sword resets its fire effect.
What level is Healing Wind? Oh, it's 9. Never mind.
9. To be fair, the particle system in this game was a major technological leap. Nothing like it had ever been done before. Particles, particle physics, particles that met other particles. It was utterly groundbreaking. In another kind of one of those really sort of ways.
I mean, it is cool.
It is.
My sword is on fire. I mean,
yeah, but that's we got particles emitting from a volume. Like the particle engine in Burnout 3 was significantly more dumb than this. We were really into what we could do. Okay, I'm out of mana.
I've got one of those rock spiked moors attacking me. Oh no, there's two of them on the same spot.
Well, aren't you lucky that I just got healing winds?
Amazing.
Good timing. Have you got mana channel as well?
Negative. No, that's not yet.
No, it's Nature Magic 12.
Ah,
I could really do with a mana per hit bow. So I could use that to get my mana back.
I could do with any bow that has any plus stats, any magical bow.
Oh, well, I've got one with +1 range skill.
That's not useful.
how about this one? +1 range skill, +3 max damage. There's a lot of damage.
That's 3 max damage to the bow, by the way, not just to your damage.
Yeah, that's not useful either. I need like a plus strength one or health armor.
Check the stats on this one. It's massive damage.
Yeah, but he's not using a bow.
Well, never mind then. I'll fucking sell it at the next town. Screw it.
Actually, just check it on the ground. I'll transmute it.
No, I can sell it.
No, you get about 5 times the money for selling it. So definitely sell it if you can afford to.
Well, I can always afford to sell something.
Yeah, Sharka, I would like to play Demigod, which I believe was the game that invented the MOBA genre as well. Same people did this. Same people did TA and Subcom, and it was. I recall it being extremely good. Many Stabber guys pull back.
I mean,
Pull back.
Dota invented it, but they were the first commercial release.
I would have to check the timeline. I'm not 100% sure that's right. But the Demi.
Yeah, I was playing Dota before they released Demigod.
Okay.
I was playing Dota in flipping StarCraft 1.
Well, it was Defend of the Ancients was the was that
Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3 mod, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure Demigod was the first standalone one at least.
Yeah, it was definitely the first commercial
Yeah.
released product that was a Defense of the Ancient.
A MOBA.
A MOBA,
They weren't called MOBA. Who was it? Who it was? League of Legends that went, no, we're not a HOTS clone. We're a MOBA. It's a genre now. Or like, is it a genre with 2 games in it? Yes, but that. Okay, they're all hitting not you now.
Bugger
All
is.
down again.
You're not meant to be killing me. I have no health potions.
I don't need them.
Drops health potion after I die. Thanks.
Be healed.
Quick. Now hit things. Really out of here yet?
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm
just
dead.
it's just after this purple bit. But yeah, so it's just something nicely relaxing about this game. I don't know what it is. It's just the right level of not.
Oh, the pacing's fantastic.
Yeah, like, but it's engaging enough to keep me interested. But it doesn't require me. Like, I can just stop and stroke Sifi for 5 seconds, and you're on follow. You'll bow people. You'll heal you. I don't have to pay absolute second attention. And this is, I think, where No Man's Sky, to my mind, massively succeeded, and at the same time, everyone hated it because it was designed as a game where you don't have to absolutely try and squeeze out every microsecond to be as efficient as possible. You can just go, I'm going to go up that mountain or whatever. And this one, you can just be a little bit relaxed about it. I'll tell you, if we kill this special, we'll call it there because there is obviously a bunch more.
Okie dokie.
Oh god, I think it's going to take a long time to kill this spider.
Special.
Yeah, the one with the light beam over it.
Oh, I can just respawn as a ghost because there's a respawn point
There
right there.
is. I remember we spent quite a lot of time at this point last night. So you could have spawned in the next spawn point, by the way. You're a high enough level, but it does get quite... Because at this point in the game, we would have been about this level, give or take, but there would have been 8 of us in single player, not 3. Or 7 and a mule. Apparently the ultimate way to play it is 1 guy and 7 mules. That's the proper hardcore mode. Wow, I literally respawned, fell over and died.
Well, oh, good lord. Yeah, they are focusing some beams.
So I'm just getting my pet up.
Well, I got one. That healing winds is not helping, because now I can't even die and resurrect.
Well, the thing is that healing wind heals 50 over 3 seconds.
Right. It kind of needs us to coordinate the resurrection.
Yeah, maybe if I coordinate the resurrection and res and just leg it in this direction. Oh, I didn't res.
And 1, 2, 3, go.
I didn't res again. What's going on?
They're on me, Matt. I wouldn't go too far in that direction. You'll just pull more things.
I wasn't necessarily going to come back. I was just going to pull these guys away.
That was a complete misclick.
Fire some frickin' arrows, you useless skeleton. I'm sorry, I pulled a bunch of them away. X turns on health bars, by the way. Yeah, a bunch of these, what are they called? Slargs are nearly down.
I assume Back has gone to feed the dogs.
With his own corpse, by the looks of it.
Right, 1 down.
So, no, Backer's just shot someone, I think. Oh, no, oh yeah, Backer's at the top. He's not dead, but he is shooting people. That's what I also like about this game. Your character won't just stand there and die if you don't do something. He will respond to attacks.
No, don't hit the special one. Hit a weak one.
You should select target weakest, but I'm right.
Got target closest.
As melee that might be more useful. As a range one, target weakest is totes the best. Right, Backer's just leading like an entire army away, so I'll come down and spawn here.
I'm just going to try and take on all the little stuff.
Okay, that little lunger's just got like 1 health point or some such. The worst one of the forest trolls, because they actually are trolls. Like, they regenerate health and they
That sucks.
and they're vulnerable to fire. So like, oh wow, you really went for the lore properly, and in a way that really affects the gameplay for once. Okay, there's 3 of these and they're so nearly dead. Right, that one's dead. That one's dead. That one's dead. And he dropped a cloak of... Oh, that's actually quite good. Has anyone got 23 int?
Nope.
No. I know you haven't.
Is Backer up here just owning everything on his own?
I think he might be up here just kiting everything. Oh, yeah. Apparently he's just got everything. Awesome. That's a good place to call it. We can walk through to the next point on the next stage. But thank you once again, guys, for watching. Remember, we are always open to suggestions about what to watch. So there's something you really want to see us just play. We haven't played a bad game since Titan Quest now. So that's the last boring, I guess, rather than bad. We haven't played anything genuinely broken and bad yet, just boring. So do let us know if there's something you'd like us to play. We have no specific plans for the weekend yet, but I suspect there'll be a whole bunch of Dungeon Siege in my future. And I would also like to do some more deathmatch games, because we haven't done enough of that awesome deathmatch fun. But as ever, thank you very much for watching. I hope the lockdown is treating you too badly. And if you do get stressed, just be like a cat. Just walk up behind a man, howl at him, get him to give you food, and then lay on his lap and dribble. And that's the advice for my cat. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very soon.
Bye.